Hello, my friends. It's great to see you all again. I am joined by Kraut, who is vaping or smoking or heavily coughing into the microphone. Hello, Kraut.
Hello. Vaping. Vaping, yeah.
So how how are you, Kraut? Are you well?
Oh, I'm fine, yeah. A bit
It's 1 in the morning where you are, isn't it? So that's quite
yeah.
late, quite early. But you're working on a project. Is this the sequel to
Well,
Battlefield 5?
yeah, that's the follow-up video. You know that feeling when you've worked for several hours straight and afterwards you don't really feel exhausted, but you feel kind of relieved that you got something done, even
I
energetic
don't
to an
know.
extent.
So in the production of the In Defense of Battlefield 5 1 video, did you feel a sense of satisfaction or relief and not a sense of I've wasted a great portion of the day, less the week, producing this, I don't know, irrelevant defense of something? It's also irrelevant?
Not really, no. It's when you edit something, like when you legit edit something, like when you don't just stare into a camera and record it, or when you don't just have pictures in the background, which is fairly easy, but when you try to teach yourself how to use new effects or something, that can be quite rewarding in the end. When when the presentation works out. A lot of
Well, one of the brilliant moments of editing during the In Defense of Battlefield 5 video was the moment where you said, these people wouldn't even bat an eyelid at certain criticisms. And as you said, bat an eyelid, you've managed to contort the video editing into a transition where the frame almost seems to blink as you do. How long did you spend on that crap?
That's a bit pedestrian, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, I thought the whole piece was slightly pedestrian. It was almost as though you were trying to channel BuzzFeed.
It kind of is, isn't it? Talking about a game in such terms, it's quite pedestrian in a way. But I feel like I bought the game. It was reduced. I played through it, and I thought, I could make some videos about this. And I watched.
So when did you buy? When did you buy Battlefield 5 then? Did you buy it sort of this year?
Last month.
Something. Last month. So that explains that. To be honest, that does explain why you're picking up on this irrelevant game all of these months later. What I found interesting was you were sweeping under a lot of legitimate criticisms of the game and merely conflating them with, well, you were saying this isn't necessarily certainly historically accurate. You know, they didn't use these certain guns or weaponry or that sort of thing, and you conflated that with the legitimate criticisms of there weren't disabled women fighting on the front lines during World War II.
Yeah, there weren't any disabled women fighting on the front lines. Yeah, and
would you say that was a legitimate criticism of the game?
Yeah,
and it wasn't necessarily fair to sweep them under this.
The point I made,
because you kept repeating a frame, didn't you? You kept repeating a frame of criticisms where you had the words social justice, SJW, full SJW, leftist.
The point I made.
You had that frame repeated throughout the video.
The point I made was that this wasn't the result, like the ridiculous prosthetic-limbed women was not the result of a certain leftist agenda necessarily, but it is a natural development of what has happened through multiplayer gaming. That's at least how I see it. That through people trying to express a certain sense of individuality in multiplayer matches, you've developed this weird environment in online gaming where everyone tries to express their individuality in the most ridiculous, most outlandish possible ways. And this just leads to more and more ridiculous features being added into games to an extent where they don't make sense anymore. That's how I see it.
Would you now concede in the space year 2019 that our queen, our mutual queen, Anita Sarkeesian, was indeed right, Kraut?
About what?
Right about everything, Kraut. She was right, wasn't she?
I wouldn't say so, no. God, that's coming out of the blue. I haven't heard of her in fucking years. No, I don't.
Well, I suppose my overall question about all of this is, I mean, I'm looking at you trying to reinvent yourself post, your entanglement with the alt-right post the doxing server, which apparently may not have even happened according to you. Apparently you didn't dox anyone, but we'll leave that. I'm looking at these varying attempts of you to reinvent yourself. One is like as a debunker of popular historical myths, like apparently there were Japanese Buddhist extremists during World War II, and the Dresden myth that we all have bought into. And now I've seen you jump on the Battlefield 5 train long since it's passed.
Well,
So
exactly.
where are you going with this crap? Where's your trajectory here?
I'm not really trying to reinvent myself then, am I? Like, if I'm reinventing myself, I need to ask, that poses the question, of course, of what was I before? And I believe if you would watch my old videos, or at least the frequency in which I uploaded them and the variation of topics that they were about, you would also probably conclude that I didn't have a certain niche back then either.
Oh,
and
don't be coy, Kraut. Your entire thing was doing a fake British accent over some Trigglypuff, over some feminist.
Yeah, the fake accent stuff. I didn't really make that many videos on feminism, I believe. I'd have to look it up. But I would like to basically just do the videos on what I currently am interested in. Like the recent video and the one I'm working on right now are basically the result of playing a game in my time at the point that I bought it, collecting some thoughts on it, and then going, yeah, I could just summarizing my thoughts into a video. Right now I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and maybe after that I'll make a video on that. Maybe something else comes into my mind, you know. It's more of a do what I feel like making, basically.
So would you say at this point you've abandoned the whole idea of skepticism? Would you call yourself a skeptic?
I believe that never really existed in the first place.
But there were a community of you who identified under that group.
Oh yeah, there was a community, but it wasn't really skeptical, if we're being honest, and it wasn't really united as a cause, by a cause, as much as it was united by individuals attempting to achieve fame or income through a certain genre, generating a certain genre on YouTube. That's how I see it now, at least. I guess.
Do you think you're trying to do that now through gaining fame through a certain genre? Battlefield 5.
I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. Right now, I'm basically making videos, and also this has become more important for me over the last several months. I really would like to up my editing game, gather more skills in that department. I've been watching a lot of tutorials on how to do certain edits, use certain effects, trying to use GIMP more efficiently, all that kind of stuff.
Would you not look around, I mean, your former friends in the skeptosphere, and do you not see them sort of moving past all of this now? Do you not feel slightly left in the dust by all of them?
Oh, I do. But what would be the point in complaining about that?
But you think carrying on, sort of going after video games, is going to make you what, a quartering 2.0?
No, I have no expectations whatsoever. It's just basically summarizing my thoughts and putting them out there.
Do you think you'd put those thoughts out on a channel that wasn't Kraut and Tea?
Yeah, I think I would. Like, I have this second channel that I'm in here right now with you that used to be the German-speaking YouTube channel, where I uploaded some German YouTube videos, which I renamed into Academics Respond when I was drunk. I could upload some videos there too at some point, or make a third channel, another one. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, Kraut, I mean, you realize every time you upload a video, your subscriber base is sort of abandoning you. You used to have, you were nearly at 200,000, weren't you? 200,000 subs? Certainly before all of the doxing server stuff, you were at 200,000. Is that right?
140,000, I think.
Wow, that's still a high amount, and it's still a high amount of people who have left you.
Yeah.
Why? True. Why is that, Kraut?
I believe they don't like what I make now. to be frank. I believe they dislike the content, most of them.
I mean, it seems to pander to that sort of crowd anyway. I mean, you're doing takes on video games, you're doing takes on sort of history and giving uncontroversial takes, stuff that's going to play well to the skeptics. So it's not necessarily that.
Well, the thing is that I'm getting differing opinions from varying different people about why it's happening. But in the end, the why it is happening doesn't really matter as much. And the fact that it is happening also doesn't matter as much at all anymore. If at least that's a kind of attitude that I think it's have.
It's a stretch to say that over 45,000 people have abandoned you because of one individual.
What do you mean because of one individual?
Well, why do you think people have abandoned you?
I don't know what to believe, to be honest. Like the most
here's what I've heard. Here's what I've heard, Kraut. I've heard you blame Ethan Ralph for a lot of your problems.
Not a lot of my problems. I blame Ethan Ralph for the things he did.
Going after your father's business?
Yeah, specifically my mum. I found that disgusting. And the more precisely the fact that he went after other people's families as well. Like the disgusting way in which he goes below the belt line after everyone he targets, and then he snickers and whines like a little kid when people go after him. It's really fucking gross. He's a gross.
And you did go after him, didn't you? Didn't you send people to sort of gather a big dox on his mother that you haven't quite used yet?
No, I have not done such a thing.
You're aware of Ethan Ralph's mother's personal details, though, aren't you?
Nope, I do not know who his mum is. I've only heard rumors about her, but I'm not sure if that's something to talk publicly about.
Right. But would you concede that maybe the problem of the people abandoning you, of people sort of switching off Kraut and Tears because it's a damaged brand?
Why is it a problem? That's the first question to ask.
Why is it a problem that you're hemorrhaging your audience?
Yeah, why is that a problem?
Well, it means that you're losing, doesn't it? It means that you're failing as a content creator, that you're trying to keep yourself
What am I
losing?
What am I losing? Is this a game?
Is it a game you ever want to win, Kraut?
Is this a kind of popularity contest or something?
Well, I mean, is it a game that you ever want to win? 45,000 people have left you.
What is there to win? What is winning in your perspective? What does this even mean? Winning, losing on YouTube? It's just, what does that even mean? I don't.
Kraut, is it true that you've lost contact with some of your previous skeptic friends, people that could have helped you out in your sort of reinvention, your rebooting, your Kraut Point 6?
What do you mean with lost contact?
Well, is it true that Sargon's ignoring you?
I've had a conversation with him a while ago, but I don't.
But that was a long while ago, wasn't it?
Let me look when that was. In February, that's when I had my last conversation with him.
Do you feel that if Sargon were to welcome you back into the fold, then maybe you'd be able to recover?
What do you mean with welcoming back into the fold? You mean like grand entry of, oh, here's this channel, I endorse it again, or something like that?
Yeah, exactly that.
I find that notion silly. I find that silly. I find that
really you do silly. Realize that the Kraut and Tea brand is tarnished by accusations of doxing, accusations of you running gay ops on people, ops to end all ops.
Oh yeah,
and accusations of you allying yourself with Shit Rat and Meth Holiday and that shit show.
And I've wasted considerable time trying to make a case for myself, but I've just realized that there's no point in doing that. People will just believe what people want to believe. There's no point in making a case. All I can do basically is make videos and do my best in how I make them, and also see to it that they are the kind of videos that I want to make. Which kind of is liberating, I find.
But your case was that it didn't happen. That's the long and short of it, right? That it was all a fantasy.
I guess you could say that.
And there wasn't a doxing server.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Better.
All right, Kraut. So we're in the middle of your editing of Battlefield 5 in defense of Part 2. How long's the series going to be?
I don't know. I'm just gonna watch the criticisms people had of the video, and then depending on how long I can get my interest up for it, I'll keep making videos on that. But after that, like after the one I'm working on right now, I'd like to comment on a recent political event, which is
this the shooting that you inspired? Is that the Christchurch and shooting that you inspired?
The ISIS brides, like Shamima Begum, who are requesting to be allowed to return to the UK, the United States, France, and Canada, and so forth.
Yeah, but you realise that this is just content that's pandering to Sargon. You realise this, don't you?
Why?
Because he's made those. He's made those videos, and he made those a few weeks ago. And you realise that you're going to make those videos just to try and get back in the Skeptic good books.
No, I disagree with him.
How do you disagree? How far do you disagree?
I believe they should all be brought back.
Wow. So is this your alliance with shit rat talking then?
No, that's
not what they've done to you.
No, that's not shit rat talking. Then I do believe that there's an obligation, an ethical obligation, to bring them all back and have them put on trial. I'm surprised by the fact that there seems to be no criminal investigation against any of these people in their respective countries. Just this attitude taken of just leave them to rot, just leave them in the desert, leave them be. They can do whatever vile, reprehensible thing they want to do as long as they don't do it here. I find that attitude just gross. It's not justice. Justice is when people are held to account for what they did. And in the case of these particular people, what they did is betray their countries, go to war with their countries, run off to join a foreign enemy entity. And I believe people are confusing this, or at least conflating this issue with the immigration issue. And this is not an immigration issue. This is an issue of crime and punishment. And where there's crime, there should be punishment. So I believe these people should be arrested.
But I mean, is it wise to spend all that money putting them through the courts in this country when we could just not spend the money and leave them where they are?
Is it wise to spend money on giving a fair trial to a pedophile, a murderer, a rapist?
These are ISIS brides who we've denied access into England.
Why don't we just hang pedophiles? Why don't we just hang murderers? You know,
if the paedophile's in a different country, it makes no difference. What do you mean?
If the paedophile is in a different country, it does make a difference. I believe Gary Glitter...
We're talking about the ISIS brides, and the ISIS brides crowd were refused access into Britain.
Yeah. And I disagree
for the simple reason that we weren't going to waste the money putting them on trial. We weren't going to waste the money putting their children through the NHS, through the education system.
I find that to be a horrible excuse. I believe the money should be spent to put them on trial, to show what a civilized society is. And there's also the great victory, in my opinion, of having these people, if the trial happens, of having these people held to account by the very standards that they rejected.
Well, people would say the same about you, Kraut. Do you think you should be on trial? Do you think you should be brought to account?
I don't think I committed any crimes. Sorry.
You're doing a degree now, aren't you, Kraut? You've gone back to university sort of late in life. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you think you'll be doing any more sort of degree-related videos, content?
Depends on how much I can use what I learn. It's more of an experimental kind of field. Before, like a few years ago, I studied IT, and I never finished that. I studied for 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and now I studied history for the particular reason that I would like to go into the field of digital humanities. I could have gone into any other field, study something else like sociology or something like that as well, but I decided to go for history. So I don't know how much video material would be offered by that particular field, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I suppose it's reassuring that you're not going into degrees simply to make videos. You know, that's at least somewhat assuring.
No, it's a genuine.
I mean, would you say that you've abandoned the YouTuber dream now? The dream that you once held of sort of having a full-time job based around a YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
When did you come to realize that? Was that late 2017 or a bit before then?
I would guess late 2017, early.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, hope is the last thing to ever die. Maybe I clung on to it for quite a bit after that in the back of my head, but it seems to be a fruitless endeavor. And the worst thing about it, especially if you make political videos, is you can end up being a hostage of your own subscribers, of your own audience, where you basically end up doing nothing but pleasing them over and over again, releasing the kind of stuff that they want to hear rather than what you want to say or what you want to create. You basically end up a prostitute, prostituting yourself, getting gangbanged. That's basically what it is, because all you do is just please people. And
so when you were making those Trigglypuff, Big Red, Aren't Feminists Evil, Lacy Green videos, that was sort of you prostituting yourself slightly to your audience that wanted that.
I ever made a video on Trigglypuff or Lacy Green, to be honest. But
your feminist content, though, was slightly prostituted. Would you agree? Your heart wasn't in it, was it, Kraut?
I would have to have a particular example of a video. Like,
all right, Kraut. You've decided then to rebrand, which I'm sure is perplexing to many people, especially as you.
I did not rebrand.
Moving away to do well. I mean, you promised us a multi-part series on Dresden and how evil the alt-right was, and you sort of abandoned that.
No,
and then you promised us like a multi-part series
on multi-part series on historic revisionism. I guess that's what you could say.
And then you promised us another multi-part series on Japan and the extremist Buddhists that are
that's
more evil
really
than Islam.
Infuriating. That's really infuriating to me because this is really fuck. Do you know who Ishikawa Kanji was?
Oh no, please go on, because this is a fascinating take that I hope more people listen to, because you think that the Japanese war generals in World War II were extremist Buddhists, and Buddhism is as extreme as Islam, right?
Ishikawa Kanji was an extremist Buddhist. He was one of the driving forces initiating the invasion of Manchuria, and he's the reason why I haven't yet made my second part video. I ordered a translation of his diary. He kept a really, really well-written and detailed diary throughout the entirety of the war. And I ordered a translation of it, a Japanese translation to German. And I ordered it back in, I don't know, it must have been several months ago, and I still haven't received it. So it must have gotten lost somewhere, and it's really, really infuriating. So what I have to do now is I forgot about it a few months ago, but either order it again, order it somewhere else, or cut it out of the production process entirely and cover something different. But yeah, it's an unexpected, fucking annoying thing. I really wished that they would have just sent me that translation.
I don't want to sound rude, Kraut, because this is obviously a very good faith conversation we're having. But you sound quite, I don't know. Depressed, I suppose, would be the word to describe
can
how you're
someone
sounding.
sound depressed?
Well, you're sounding quite monotone. You're sounding quite low. Almost everything is slightly self-deprecating. You're coughing.
It's 2 in the morning.
You're choking on your own smoke inhalation. I don't know,
It's
but
not smoke,
you don't
it's
sound
water
happy. You don't sound as though you're.
How does someone sound happy? That's a really weird thing to point out.
Well, I suppose the way you
happy.
sound now, the opposite of that.
That's a really weird thing to bring up.
Well, I mean, are you happy?
Doesn't make any sense.
I'm
Am I
happy.
Yeah, I'm satisfied, I guess.
Well, that's not happy, is it? That's just sort of, as you say, satisfied. What brings you to the point where you're satisfied and not ecstatic?
Oh, well, happy, satisfied? Yeah, I guess I'm content. I'm fine.
Again, content isn't happy, is it? It sounds like you're barely existing.
What do you mean barely existing?
Kraut, are you well?
Yes.
I'm not talking to you in your fastening the noose.
Yes.
I hope.
Yes, I feel fine.
Has the past year been all right for you? Has the past year been okay for you?
Oh no. The last year
you've been on a journey of. But I thought you've been on a journey of recovery. I mean, you and Mundane Matt managed to spin out a few yarns about everything being a myth and a big gay op on you. I thought it was all quite a successful year for you of rebuilding.
What does Mundane Matt have to do with this?
You and Monday Man are friends. You worked out narratives where you could go along to various streams and say that things.
I know that Mundane Matt flagged people's channels. I'm not okay with that. But the thing with Mundane Matt is, I've been talking to Matt ages before the drama. To be honest, I just know him pretty well.
So did you know about the flagging then?
No, I had no idea that I had no idea he was doing that, and it's stupid that he was doing that.
Would you say that your friendship, sort of prior to the revelation, then was sort of based around lies? If he never admitted that to you?
No, why?
Well, I'd expect a good friend of mine who I talk to quite regularly to at least tell me they were doing illicit things, and not hide it and then reveal it on a stream to thousands of people. They are indeed a liar.
Didn't tell people. I guess that shows how much he knew that it was wrong.
Right.
Yeah. If that.
Did you feel betrayed as a friend? I mean, I would feel very betrayed.
No, I did not feel betrayed at all.
Did you not scold him or say, "I disavow"?
I could be honest about this, but that might look a bit bad on me.
Well, I mean, if you're saying you're going to lie, that's going to be even worse, surely.
I scolded him for giving Ethan Ralph content, but if he's going to reveal this shit, he should have revealed it on someone else's stream, rather than.
So you wanted to be the one to host it, right? You wanted to be the one to host that.
No, definitely not. But that's the thing I kind of, in a cynical way, scolded him for.
But the past year hasn't been bad, surely. I mean, you said it was the terrible year, worst year of your life. Surely not.
Yeah, well, there has been something I don't necessarily want to talk about on stream.
What's the theme of the unmentionable subject?
I'll DM it to you if you don't mind.
Okay, fine. But just tell us how that's bad then. How has it made your year sort of terrible? Because I mean, a lot of this is just the internet stuff, which you could walk away from and log out of.
No, it's not internet stuff, which is why I'm. Here you go. That's something that's been boggling my mind in the recent months, unfortunately.
Right. So Crouch just sent me a picture of PPP's pink anus. No. Okay, that's quite sad, Kraut, and I apologize for that.
It's real life stuff. It's real life stuff that has been. Yeah, I guess the message I sent you might explain some something.
But I mean, that's 2 months. 2 months doesn't ruin a whole year, surely.
Well, it's a 2-month continuing process until there is an end to it, you know, to put it in these kinds of vague terms. Yeah.
I vividly remember a stream you did back in the day with your girlfriend. Is she still around?
One. Lydia.
Lydia, that's right.
I'm not with Lydia anymore, no.
Did she break up with you post the doxing server or prior to that?
Post.
Post. Did she disavow?
Nope.
She just didn't like the heat you were getting.
No, it was just a long-distance relationship which gradually just went apart, came apart.
And you wouldn't say that any of the trolling or any of the bad reaction from the internet had anything to do with sort of driving a wedge between you both?
Not necessarily, because the relationship wasn't really built on internet stuff. I don't even.
Well, I mean, if we're to believe a lot of the, well, I suppose if we're to believe a lot of the sort of leaks, then it was built around this weird dominatrix style sort of master dominator relationship. Is that correct?
I don't really see how my private relationship has anything to do with this, to be honest.
Okay, we'll step away from that. Is it true then? Is it true then that? Well, I mean, is it true then that this past year, aside from that IRL stuff, wasn't necessarily the best in terms of Kraut and Tea, the YouTube channel, the brand, your sort of internet identity? Because it sort of got shot to pieces, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair assessment. Shot to pieces.
And what would you say caused that? Would you say that was your actions or sort of the reactions of the alt-right, which were quite...
Yeah, I would say that my handling of the situation initially was very stupid.
I mean, the situation started... I mean, I might be completely wrong, so please feel free to correct me. It started with Rage After Storm, am I correct?
It depends on how you
and look, I'll give you the fair. I mean, I know your narrative slightly, where you said that. I mean, you sent a tweet to UKIP, but you deleted it almost instantly, so it didn't really matter. It didn't really do anything, and it was just simply people blowing it out of proportion. That's what you said. Is that correct?
Yeah, the tweet didn't stop this.
So what did start it?
That really is a good question. That I guess every person sees the starting point at somewhere else.
Well, where do you see it? Do you see it at the start of your sort of doxing of Coach Red Pill, or before then, or
no?
Well, I mean, where do you see it starting? VidCon?
No, I wasn't even at VidCon, so.
Well, exactly, yeah, and I thought that spoke volumes. But where do you see it starting, Kraut?
I see it starting at probably somewhere in around April 2017.
April 2017.
April, May 2017, yeah.
Well, what happened then?
That's when the first private conversations were held in private Discord servers and Skype chats.
Was Meth Holiday and yourself organising the doxing of alt-right figures?
No. The need of having to make videos on the alt-right, I guess.
Right.
That's when these conversations started, and around April.
But come on, Kraut. I mean, you were a part of the Skype group, surely. Sargon's little Skype server.
And
so that was happening anyway. You were all coordinating videos anyway. It was just simply you decided to go against the alt-right. No, but I
find it weird that people see this as a kind of coordinating thing. The thing is, content creators just have, like, people talk to each other. That's just
well, I mean, it's different. If you're in a Skype group, Kraut, and someone says, let's make a video on this, and they've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and then suddenly you've got other people saying, okay, I'll make the same video, and we'll generate buzz, and we'll all get some monetization out of it, and we'll all sort of craft a narrative. That's different, isn't it, than just saying, I'm making a video.
Why is that different?
Because you're contriving a narrative of events to simply make something seem more popular than it actually is.
Really?
Well, that's what you were trying to do with the alt-right stuff, weren't you? You were learning from Don Sargone.
No. He barely gave me any advice on this. Actually, he didn't give me any advice at all on making these videos. He was the least involved. But nah, that's really not how it goes. But with the popularity thing that you bring up, the idea that people on YouTube generate news, generate something that is popular or trending or something like that, I find that to be untrue. I find that completely untrue, to be honest.
So what was the spark that got you wanting to make videos, sort of mobilizing people to make videos on the alt-right? What got you?
A private conversation I had with someone.
Who was alt-right?
No, who wasn't alt-right?
What were they, sort of a refugee from the alt-right, or a victim of the alt-right?
It's more of a personal thing. Yeah, you could say a victim of the alt-right.
Right.
You could say that.
And what? Were they wronged?
No. A friend of mine. Yeah, wronged. I could say a friend of mine.
Right. So a Jewish friend of yours was wronged by the alt-right.
Not Jewish, Arab, a Arab friend of mine, who has a white girlfriend, and this is back in February or March 2017. I did a stream with an alt-writer.
Who was that?
I think I just remember his.
Was it Woes?
No. I just remember his avatar was a white sheep or something like that.
Right.
Fuck, I'm trying to remember the name. Can you give me a few seconds to try and remember it?
Okay.
Because it's something with trees.
Cedarwood. Urinating tree. Cedarwood. Okay. All right. Yeah. David Cedarwood. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he seems quite. I mean, he's quite reasonable. I don't know. I mean, he wouldn't catalyze me to.
Yeah. It was a very cordial, friendly conversation that I had with him on the stream. And right after that stream ended, I got a really angry call by that friend of mine, scolding me for having this friendly conversation with him. And
did he call you a Nazi? Did he say you were a Nazi?
No, he didn't call me a Nazi. No, he didn't call me a Nazi. But he sent me screen caps of tweets and posts by that guy, telling me more or less this is what he does when he's not friendly to you on stream, which is organizing on Twitter to go after random people who are in interracial relationships, including him. He's an Arab who's dating a white woman, and they came for him as well. And I guess that was one of the moments that kind of made me think, yeah, there's probably a need to make a video about this to a degree.
So it was a sort of a take on that old poem of first they came for the Arabs with white girlfriends, then they came for me.
It's more like there is never really one reason for why to do something. It's always a culmination, a addition. There's always, nobody is ever motivated by one single driving thing. There's always a combination of several different reasons for why we do what we do. And I guess this is one of them, but there's also just my own personal disagreement with them. I guess the conversations I had with other people also led up to this. There's a lot of different factors that always play in.
Did you not sort of disagree with them on the Jewish question?
Of course I disagreed with them on the Jewish question.
Did you disagree with them after or before you had that conversation with the alt-writer?
I've always disagreed with them on the Jewish question bullshit.
So April, May was when you had that conversation, and then you decided, I'm now going to turn this into a crusade against the alt-right.
Why a crusade?
Well, what would you characterize it as?
Well, the plan was to make 8 videos.
Right.
8. And then go back to something else.
What were the 8 videos going to be? Sort of what is the alt-right, how to beat the alt-right?
No.
Where's the alt-right going?
The plan was to make 5 videos on the biology stuff, then a video about historical revisionism.
What biology
I still have
stuff?
the folder open some for you.
What was the sort of racial differences between human beings?
Yeah, the stuff I made with Joan and Sandra. And then the revisionist stuff, I still have the folder somewhere. Then something about propaganda, I believe. And the last one I've forgotten. But that was the plan, to make 8 videos and to see if others would pick up. That was also an interest, to see if this would, lure other people into making videos about this topic too.
And then it sort of spiraled into a Discord server, didn't it? And, recruiting scientists.
The Discord server is where all of this started out. Like that, it was always around that server. There was another one before that, which collapsed, unfortunately, and I deleted it because it didn't really work. But yeah.
So at what point in the story... Well, at what point in the story, Kraut, do you start to feel sorry for your own actions? Do you start to say, I apologize for what I did? At what point in the story, I mean, what did you mishandle?
What I mishandled? I guess the worst thing I mishandled was immediately leaving YouTube.
Right. So you regret not doubling down?
Yeah. No, I regret... not only not doubling down, but I regret not immediately standing up. I guess. Not immediately defending myself. Running away, I guess. Yeah.
So I mean, it's the old maxim of never apologize, isn't it?
That maxim has to be one of the most stupid things out there is.
But it's the one that you're advocating.
I would say never apologize for something you didn't do, but the never apologize, or never apologize to someone who wants to use the apology against you. But the never apologize maxim is just stupid. And on the internet in general, I find that apologies themselves are kind of worthless. They're just leverage. They're just a means and way by people to manipulate audiences and other YouTubers. That's at least what I find in my conclusion.
So talk us through why you went after Coach Red Pill of all people. Because he wasn't alt-right, was he?
He's a fraud. Crook. Criminal.
But doesn't it strike you as strange that, I mean, you've started this odyssey against the alt-right. You've got these 8 videos mapped out. You're sort of investigating alt-right figures, and then suddenly you go after someone who talks about incels rising up and exists slightly away from the alt-right.
Someone sent me a video of his and asked me what I thought of it, because that's the thing. I wasn't just doing alt-right stuff. I was preparing for working on other shit as well. I went on a holiday and I talked with people about other stuff. I was playing video games, etc., etc. And someone, I believe, sent me a video by Coach Red Pill asking me what I thought of it. And what I did was I Googled the company at the end. And that's how that story transpired further. Yeah, and I showed what I found about him around.
So you didn't gather a docs on him or anything like that?
No, the most interesting thing on him really is what he did to Professor Keane. The fact that he took over a payment service and then used the subscribers of another person as his own private piggy bank to scam people out of money.
Well, earlier on in this conversation, Kraut, we spoke about people who are in other countries at the moment who need to be brought back to the countries of origin in order to face justice. We spoke about the ISIS brides in Britain. Do you think Coach Red Bull should be brought back from the Ukraine to stand justice for his crimes?
To the Ukraine? I don't think that he could stand.
Well, he's in the Ukraine at the moment. Do you think he should be brought back to where he
I wouldn't be
committed these
surprised
crimes?
if he's. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, if he's wanted for questioning in the UK. Because
do you think he should be brought back to? Do you think he should be brought back to whatever authorities?
I don't know if there is extradition for fraud. I don't know if there is. And I don't know if the Ukraine even has an extradition treaty.
Well, that's why he's there.
Yeah.
But what's the most heinous crime that Crouch did then? Just fraud?
Fraud. It's theft. It's theft. It is a heinous crime. If you steal people's money, you know, if you promise someone goods and you steal their money, that is a fucking outrageous crime. That's. I don't know where the debate about this is. The guy defrauded people. Well,
do you still have a Patreon account, Kraut?
Yeah, I do.
Did you have a Patreon account for the year that you were missing? Do you keep it live?
Yeah. Well,
wasn't that sort of defrauding people by promising them a product and not delivering for a year?
No, because I didn't promise any product over the course of the time that I was gone. I didn't demand any payments over the time that I was gone. That's not how it works. I said.
Did you shut down your Patreon then? Did you let your Patreon sort of go?
Unlike some other people, I have my patrons set to monthly. Sorry, not monthly, per video payments. So I only get paid if I actually make videos. If I don't make videos, I don't get paid. It's as simple as that.
And then suddenly you're caught up in this. I think Warski goes after you, doesn't he? And there's some streams on you there. And then Jim makes his video series on you. And then JF. And then we have this year where you're sort of out in the cold, right? How did it feel watching all of that stuff and not responding, just sort of sitting in the shadows in your Discord server?
It didn't feel anything at all because I wasn't watching any of it. Neither was I in some Discord server wargaming. I was gone.
You were in a Discord server though, weren't you?
Yeah, playing D&D with people.
And people were bringing up stuff and you were responding.
Here and then, yeah. And I gave my thoughts on things. Here and then it was brought up in conversations, yeah.
How soon after the Mundane Matt debacle did you sort of get in contact with him, or did he contact you?
Weirdly enough, I had a conversation with him the day before that stream.
And how did that go? I mean, was it something completely unrelated?
It was something random and completely unrelated about movie reviews or something like that.
Boulders?
And I think I even sent him a private message right at the start of that stream. Like,
and what was the private?
No,
a warning.
Get off that fucking stream, Ralph's a stack of shit. I believe something around those lines. that was the message.
What do you think unites you and Mundane Matt then? I mean, you deny being a sort of skeptic or being in that community.
What we have in common is an interest in, I guess, movies and video games. At least
no, it's a common interest in sort of pandering to Sargon and being Sargon's capo. You know that.
Sargon has no capos. The idea that Sargon sends people forth to do his dirty work is not really true.
Well, no. I mean, you offer yourselves to him like a sacrificial lamb. But I mean, it's facetious to say that you, Mundane Matt, are two soulmates that just know each other through video games and in comic books. We all know that you're united via your association with Sargon.
No, I don't think Matt. Like, I don't know how often Matt speaks to Sargon, to be honest. Like, I never was in any kind of private group or anything where both him and Sargon were in. So I honest to God don't know what the relation between Matt and Sargon is.
But Matt's on this stream with Ralph, and you're watching that, and you're telling him, "No, stop this." And stuff.
Oh no, I think someone told me Matt went on Ralph's stream, and I just sent, as soon as I heard that, sent Matt a DM going, "Get off Ralph's stream," basically.
So when Matt leaves the stream after the 2 hours, over 2 hours of just sort of public humiliation, of disemboweling, does he jump into that Discord with you?
I don't remember if he did.
Did you talk to each other though? Surely you'd remember that.
Yeah. We did.
And how was the tone? Was he panting? Was he out of breath? Were you trying to calm him down?
No. He sounded. I don't know how to put that, to be honest, but he sounded like, I guess, a 12-year-old kid that was caught stealing candy, if that makes sense.
Right. But your only qualm with all of it was he shouldn't have spoke to Ralph. He should have gone on some skeptic approved stream.
That was not my only qualm with it. No, definitely not. I don't approve of the flagging he did. The thing is, the people he flagged became more popular due to the fact that he flagged them. He flagged them in an attempt to get rid of them, and it made them more popular. So I guess in a weird kind of way, it taught him a lesson in that regard as well.
Do you still speak to Matt?
Yeah.
Is he one of the few from the sort of old days that stick around? I assume Meth Holiday still talks to you? I mean...
Oh, well. Is that you trying to ask which people from the past community I still talk to?
Of course. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I never really talked that much with a lot of them anyway. Like, I guess you'd have to bring up some names, and then I could give you some direct answers. But even like 2, 3, 4 years ago, the people I talked most to were Jeff Holiday, mainly. Jeff Holiday is who I was closest to and closest with. Still am to a degree.
Do you feel like you're on the wrong side of history, perhaps?
I don't believe there is a right side or a wrong side of history.
Well, do you think that the alt-right are on the wrong or the right side of history? Surely you must think they're on the wrong side.
They're just on the wrong side of what is ethically and morally acceptable, in my opinion. But they're just plainly wrong, but not on the wrong side of history. That's something I don't believe in.
And what happened then, Kraut, when Shitrat started allying himself with you? How did that come about?
In a really weird way.
Because, I mean, I know that the skeptics hate Shitrat since the dawn of time, and yet to ally yourself with him, it struck me as the most bizarre move in all of this, really.
It's a matter of principle. It's just a matter of principle. He came into the server because he was annoying me. Back then, he was really annoying me. Like, he was out on Twitter doing his shit, calling me a Nazi, so forth and so forth. And I just sent him an invite to that server and told him, join us in here, make some videos with us, rather than bothering us, blah, 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 blah. And he stuck in the server, and I don't think we really got along at first. And the reason why I now get along with him again is because he stuck around after the drama as well. And that's something that, it's a matter of principle, because he stuck around, so I'm going to stick around as well.
And then you had this stream with Kevin Logan, and I think Kevin Logan's even disavowed Shitrat, hasn't he?
Yeah, of course he has.
But during that stream with Kevin Logan, I mean, you pulled the quite a sneaky bait and switch on him, where you brought your friend Meth in and said, I'll let Meth deal with you.
I didn't want to talk to the reason why this happened was I didn't really want to talk to Kevin Logan.
Seems like a weird line to draw, though, doesn't it? I mean, you'll talk to Shitrat, but Kevin Logan's where you draw the line.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get into in this stream why I don't want to talk to Kevin Logan. But the events as they transpired was Kevin Logan was annoying me in DMs. Stream with me. I said, no. I was in a private call with Jeff Holiday. And then I told Jeff Holiday that Kevin Logan was annoying me, and Jeff had been drinking and was telling me, "Give me the invite. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him." And then when I went on the stream with Kevin Logan, he kept pestering me even more, going like, "I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him." So I gave him the invite. But
you don't think it was irresponsible? I mean, you knew he'd been drinking.
Maybe it was, yeah. I actually apologized to him the next day for giving him the invite. He disregarded that apology and said that it was his fault because it was, his actions in the first place. But I do feel that I had some responsibility in that stupidity. I shouldn't have gone on that Kevin Logan stream in the first place.
Well, I mean, you were barely on it. You were there for 5 minutes, and you said, "I'll let Meth deal with you." And I mean, many thought that was another example of a gay op.
Yeah, but everything is a gay op these days. It's just a matter of what you call or what you don't call a gay op, isn't it?
Well, there are many instances of you recorded saying, that you've planned gay ops, that you're embarking on gay ops, that you have in your palm the op to end all ops, I believe was a direct quote.
I think that was Tonka who said that.
Do you think you've ever ran a gay op, Kraut?
Yes. I organized two as well.
What was the organization of those gay ops?
You mean what was its intent?
Or how was it structured? How did it come about?
Well, it came about wanting to have some fun and trolling someone.
Who was that?
Yeah. Whatever alt-righter would pick up the bullshit that we were going to do. And then when that was discarded, the other idea was to troll Jordan Peterson. That was back in the day when you could still get Jordan Peterson to stream with you by paying him $200. Yeah.
So your gay op was to give Jordan Peterson $200.
Yeah, to pay him $200 to come on a stream, and then we would have set up a debate between him and don't know if you know him, someone called Godwinson.
Right. And that was it. Sorry. I mean, was that the gay op?
Yes.
So that doesn't sound like a gay op to me. It sounds like you followed the rules.
Do you know who Godwinson is?
No, I don't.
He's a 50-year-old Dutch alcoholic who drank himself into insanity and believes there is a conspiracy of a postmodernist women's mafia that is stealing men's children. And he makes videos about that. And some amazing stuff about how ISIS are the good guys because at least they're not postmodernized and shit like that.
But I mean, setting up a debate between two people who have opposing viewpoints isn't really a gay op.
No, it's not. It's not opposing viewpoints. It's just the intent was to show how I don't particularly like Jordan Peterson. Never liked him as much. And the intent behind it was to show how what Jordan Peterson says is in some way no different than the ramblings of some alcoholic homeless guy. It's shallow, hollow nonsense, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion of Jordan Peterson. I really don't like him too much.
You referenced two other gay ops. What were they?
The one where we wanted to dream up some pseudoscientific bullshit and then create a fake account as a dissident scientist called Tilly Law and feed this bullshit information to alt-right YouTubers and then hope that they use it in videos.
How far did that get off the ground?
Not at all. It was stopped. People in the server said that it was stupid and dumb and shouldn't be done.
How long did you spend formulating the idea of that crap? I mean, you had a biography for the woman, didn't you?
I think we spent 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
How many hours of discussion was that?
Wow, that's a hard question. 2 hours, maybe.
2 hours over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And who was the driving force behind that? Were you the one sort of formulating the biography?
Me. I was the driving force behind that.
Did you think it had legs then? Did you think it would have been...
Oh, back then I definitely did. I thought it was funny as fuck. But, yeah.
And what was the reaction? What was the reaction from people around you then, listening to that?
Oh, well, there's a couple of people who thought it was a funny idea, but one person who we heavily relied upon for our work, which is Joan, really disliked it. So we didn't do it. Because Joan became a kind of a figure of authority to us, because we were heavily dependent upon him for our content.
But had no one have opposed you, you'd have ran with that Tilly Law thing, wouldn't you?
If none had opposed me, yes, I guess.
So I suppose my question is: today, in the space year 2019, do you regret that, or do you?
That's a good question. That's a good question, because it inevitably leads to the other question, which is, if it would have taken off, if we would have done this and it would have worked, and some YouTuber would have made a video presenting some utter and complete horseshit, would it have been funny? Would it have been entertaining? That is the question that is brought up. If it hadn't,
well, to what extent would Tilly Law have been real? Would you have hired a voice actor? Would you have done the voice yourself?
No. We had someone in our server who didn't run a YouTube channel was willing to do all of this.
Right. So you were going to have someone fully become the character, I suppose.
Not fully, I guess, for the couple of minutes.
Well, use their voice, use their own time to set up this channel and have access to it.
Not necessarily a channel, but just a Twitter account or something like that.
But I mean, you do realize that many people the world over pretend to be trannies and women the whole time. They've been men.
Okay.
I mean, it's classic catfishing, Kraut. I mean...
So you think we were doing some catfishing? Well, the reason why...
No, I think had you have set up a random Twitter account with the name Tilly Law, Kraut, I think no one would have listened to it.
The reason why the character we created was female was because the person who was willing to do the voice and the Twitter account was female.
We'll call her Tilly Law. Was Tilly Law? Did she agree to this before you'd sort of devised your planning, or was it sort of midway through your planning?
I guess. Yeah, she's even the one who came up with the name.
So what did you come up with?
The plan.
Right. You didn't come up with any sort of biographical details, or...
I think I created a fake social security number.
Right. So what was the plan? I mean, because people don't really post their social security number on their Twitters or on their YouTube channel. So what was the plan to sort of fake a dox?
It's a website you can use where you type in a random name, a fake name, and it automatically generates a fake address and shit like that for you.
But what was the point? What would the point of contriving a whole dox be? Were you planning to leak a dox or something?
To create it, and if someone asked for her credentials, to present those credentials.
Who would have asked for the credentials?
The person who Tilly Law would have contacted.
No, but look, if some avatar contacts you, you're not going to instantly ask for their address and their social security number.
Well, if someone contacts you and claims to be a PhD microbiologist or something like that, you would want to ask for credentials, wouldn't you?
Well, you want to see the thesis, surely. You'd want to see the PhD.
Yes.
You wouldn't necessarily want to see their address. So did you fake a PhD? Did you fake a thesis?
No, we didn't fake a PhD. No, we didn't do that. No such thing. No.
Do you still talk to the person that wanted to pretend to be Tilly Law, though?
Not in ages, to be honest. Not in ages. Not in. I don't know. It just never came up. Never came up in conversation.
Because this person's Dralister, isn't it?
I'm neither gonna deny nor confirm.
Right, but Dralister is a fellow. Is that correct?
Well, she's trans.
a trans fellow, a chap.
But I'm not gonna get into that political discourse about that matter right now because it bores me. It's not an issue that I'm particularly interested in.
But their timbre, the volume of their voice doesn't really speak to femininity. I mean, certainly the extracts I've heard of them talking. I mean, I wouldn't be convinced, and I doubt the people who were going to listen to Tilly Law would be convinced. So already the plan is failing.
Okay. Well, that's you. We will never know if it would have failed or worked because we never got to do it. So.
But had there have been no opposition, you'd have enjoyed that. You'd have laughed at that, and it would simply be to laugh. It would simply be to get enjoyment from laughing at the spurging out of the alt-right.
Yeah, that was at least the intention.
Right. Well, why would you call it a gay op?
I didn't call it a gay op.
We called it come on, Kraut.
Then.
But I asked you what gay ops were involved in.
The word used now is gay op, but back then we didn't call it a gay op. We back then called it trolling. We gave it weird, stupid names. The people who coined the word gay op come from the Bloodsports crowd. They're the ones who coined that term.
But that's the only sort of gay op you've really been involved in. That and paying Jordan Peterson £200. Was there another one? I think you mentioned another one. Sort of. You said there was one and there was two more. What was the other? Did it involve Tonka Saw?
Oh, that Tonka thing. Yeah. That was really nasty, to be honest. I did not expect that to happen. Really didn't.
Expect what to happen?
The fact that he would get so much shit for talking to me, that's something I did not expect, no.
Well, it wasn't necessarily him just talking to you, it was the subjects you were talking about and planning, literally saying the words, this is an op to end all ops.
Well, the way it came about was he wanted to talk to me. And he was the first one in that crowd who wanted to actually talk to me, to hear my side of the story, etc., etc. And I did. And we ended up talking for several hours, me making my case most of the time. I actually recorded all my first conversations with Tonka because I didn't trust him. And he then proposed that I would go on a stream with him and that he would pretend that he didn't know me and that I would make my case, the same case that I made to him on that stream, basically.
And then V was there also, wasn't he? Sort of disavowing in the moment.
What's disavowing in the moment?
He was disavowing your little team up, if I recall correctly.
I don't think he was, actually.
Didn't you tell him not to speak of this anywhere else?
Yes. V has always had a tendency to be unable to keep secrets. That's the thing about V.
That's because everything you tell to V, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard rumors that everything you say to V goes straight to Sargon Kraut.
I'm not sure if that's true, but I just know for a fact that you can't entrust him with any secret. He puts them out there. That's just how he is. It's not necessarily a malicious thing. It's just a character thing with him.
Now, were you aware of Knoxville and the people on the IBS crowd? Yeah, trying to beckon Kraut.
To the extent that everyone else was, I guess. I was actually looking forward to it. I really wanted to see it.
Yeah, I mean, there are rumors of your sort of bloodlust for wanting. Is it true that you were DMing Tonkasaur and telling him to kill Andy Warski?
No. What the fuck? Who came up with that?
But you were telling him to
I
inflict
wanted him.
serious
I
harm.
told him I wanted him to beat the shit out of Wolski. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the only one. Like a lot of people.
You wanted him to inflict serious harm on Andy Warski during Knoxville. Is that correct?
No. No interest whatsoever in that.
Well, I mean, beat the shit out of Andy Warski sounds like you wanted to inflict serious harm on him. It's kind of like a bloodlust.
It's an MMA fight. You get the crap beaten out of you in these fights.
So did you honestly think Tonka was going to show?
I did, yeah.
Did he tell you he was going to show?
Yeah.
So he lied to you?
Could be, yeah. But then again, I'm not a vindictive person. I'm not someone who, yeah, it sucks that it didn't happen. But I'm not going to just throw him under the bus for that reason or condemn him or drag him through the mud or something like that. Just my position is he's the first person who wanted to hear my side of the story. And as such, I feel like I kind of owe him.
So I suppose, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the fallout of Knoxville, but it's almost been a sort of Kraut redemption arc without you being involved, really. We've had the gun memes, which I'm... Well, I mean, yeah, we've had Ethan Ralph, your sworn enemy.
Jesus Christ, mate, what the fuck are you talking about? Redemption? What is this?
So your sworn enemies in the IBS crowd.
What do you mean? No, sorry. Redemption arc. Do you seriously believe that there's something like a redemption arc on YouTube? What do you think this is? It's some kind of romantic movie, story, or some kind of western? Redemption. Jesus.
Well, Kraut, my question is, Kraut,
redemption.
To what extent have you been reveling in the gun memes?
I have not really been reveling much in it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you created a video. I mean, you made a gun video template.
Yes, I made one of them. I find the meme hilarious, but I don't really. The test for me was to not do as he does. You know, to not. He always finds shit on people and then delves into it. I mean, kind of arrogantly to say, kind of, I'm better than you. I'm not going to fucking bathe in your misery, you sack of shit.
So, do you not feel gladdened, sort of, in the
post-Knoxville
fallout?
I don't feel gladdened. I don't feel gladdened at all. I feel disappointed. I feel that it's mainly been a waste of time. Like, there's also some irritation, I will admit to that, because gradually over the course of the year, what happened is that I've been proven right about many things.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Kraut redemption arc.
No, it's not a redemption arc. It's to a certain degree vindicating, I guess. Like when suddenly people turn around and say, "Yeah, you were right about Coach Redpill," even though Andy would never directly say that because, yeah, I'm Satan himself to him. The things about Ralph that turned out, etc., etc. But the main thing is, you could call it maybe a vindication, but there's no such thing as redemption. Nobody will publicly admit that I was right about this. And the main thing that bothers me was not what I was right about, but what I was wrong about. The main thing that bothers me, Andy Warski. I was completely and utterly wrong about Andy Warski.
I'm sorry, I can't really recall your take on Andy Warski. You'll have to.
No, it's not something that I publicly made takes on. Like when all of this shit started, like I always saw Andy as this kind of lovable buffoon, especially like before the drama, when we talked privately and stuff like that. An entertaining kind of guy, a lovable little dude who was always fun to talk to in his little server where he played video games with people, etc., etc. That's how I saw him, and I was wrong about that. The guy turned out to be just a vindictive, nasty opportunist who will not bat an eyelid when he rams the knife through your throat from behind, who will burn you to the ground if he thinks he can make a buck off of you for the day. And that is because I think
So
it is part of the
I take it you're feeling empathy for JF then.
To what degree?
Well, to the degree that Andy Warski did all of those things to JF.
Well, that's not necessarily the person who first sprang to mind. Could be that he did, but JF is a completely different bag of potatoes. So
because you disagree with it.
No, he legit creeps me out. He legitimately creeps me out. That's another person I was proved right about, by the way. But yeah, like I said, the main thing that bothers me is not what I was right about, but what I was wrong about. And what I was wrong about was Wolski. I thought he was just being misguided, but nah. He's genuinely a sack of shit. Nasty person.
What else were you right about besides Coach Red Pill and Ethan Ralph?
JF being creepy and weird.
Was there any
Not
other
much
points?
of an intellectual. Do you remember that back in December and November 2017, he kept saying, "I am not old right. I am here giving a neutral position," etc., etc.
Yeah, no, I recall.
Yeah. So that kind of fell apart. But and also Aiden Paladin, that is one of the, because that was when the doxing accusations came up. For several months, she was the main person people rallied around because she claimed that I had doxed her. And then, of course, it turns out that that was not the case and that she's another bag of potatoes, a different one. But like I said to you before, when you said that silly word redemption arc, there is no such thing as redemption for being proven right about any of this. People will believe what they want to believe. People cling on to the images that they create. People, do as they please. And there can be no redemption in any of this. And there would also be no point in gloating about it. There would be no point in running around and telling people I was right about this. There's nothing to be gained or to be lost in any of this. With the exception of maybe Ralph.
Well, I mean, with Ralph on that very subject, you're saying that you and Matt haven't secretly shared Gunt memes between each other.
I've... Let me check my DMs, how many Gunts I sent Ralph. I've received... a friend of mine sent me a template of that hand with the Gunt, and I made a little video of it, but let me take a look how many Gunts I sent to Ralph.
No, how many Gunts have you sent between you and Monday Matt?
Yeah, I'm checking my DM. Oh, okay. Where's Matt?
There's a few.
I can't find Matt.
Oh, maybe he's blocked you, Kraut. Maybe he's decided to disavow.
Did he just get banned from Discord? No, okay, sorry, my mistake. I found him. How many Gunts did we share?
Are we in the double figures? Triple figures?
I'm scrolling up. I'm at February 2019 right now. I'm server counted 1. A lot of the memes are not even about Ralph.
Well, I mean, would you say that swapping memes, Gunt memes, were sort of gloating?
2. We're 2. We got one. We got one that Matt made. So there's one that I made, one that he made.
What was the one that Matt made? What's the Gunt holding?
It's basically just the Gunt holding Ralph's face, but that's just, I guess, not as funny.
Some mundane Matt OC there. Is that gloating? Because you've made the case against you not gloating. You're the better man. You're the intellectual who doesn't gloat. It sounds like you're gloating there with mundane Matt.
These are private conversations that are not public. I think
yeah, but come on, morality isn't something you do in.
Well, it's
two different masks.
Basically. Well,
you can't be moral in the dark and then moral in.
I think it's perfectly fine to, in private, say things that you would probably not necessarily say in public. Like, okay,
well,
yeah,
we're talking about your morality here, Kraut, and it's not consistent, is it? If you're doing one thing in private and another thing publicly,
well,
or proclaiming to do one thing.
What's so evil about sharing gun memes in private? When I believe I also, sorry, I believe I also tweeted out some gun memes. I'm in fact thinking of making a kind of. I'm not going to get into what I'm doing there, but yeah.
So would you turn on that phrase then when you said it was wrong to gloat? Would you say it's indeed fantastic to gloat?
Well,
and you have to indeed partake in gloating?
It would be wrong to, make fucking 10 streams filled with super chats about it. That's what I would consider. Maybe I'm using the wrong word. Maybe the correct word isn't gloating, but to engage in something like this, to milk people.
So what you're saying is, all you're saying is it's wrong to do what they did to you.
I guess to a degree. I think it's also boring and bad for the platform in general.
Attacking you was bad for the platform YouTube. Attacking you was bad for the platform of YouTube.
No. I think I DM'd you this before you went on stream when we had when I told you that, when you asked me if I have conditions for streaming, and I told you that my one condition is no super chats for any stream that I'm on. That has been a condition ever since super chats were introduced, because I fucking despise super chats. I absolutely hate them. I believe they ruined this platform to a large degree. They made people lazy. Everyone now believes they're Joe Rogan. Everyone is just out there trying to make a quick buck rather than putting effort into making a coherent, consistent video. And it annoys the fuck out of me. I wish.
Do you say that to your friends who do enable super chats? Have you shared this hot take with Tonka and Mundane Matt and Sargon? And
yes.
And what have they said to you?
Well, some of them have actually admitted to me that I'm right, but they like the money.
Right. Was that Mundane Matt?
I'm not going to tell you who that was. I'm not going to tell you who that was, but yeah, I despise super chat. I haven't reached a point yet where I despise the people who use them, but I believe they will be punished over time for using super chats by their audiences, because I believe people will over time see through this shit, see how ridiculous and stupid it is, and stop using it.
Do you think this is going to be another Kraut was right moment? Shall we bookmark this moment right here? And
I hate that
pull it up in 2020.
I am pretty damn sure I'm not the only one who believes that this is the case. I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one who sees super chat as this worthless, garbage, disgusting thing that it really is.
But you're quite unique in the sense that you're quite unique in the sense that you're friends with people who use them to live and survive.
Yes, and I believe they will be punished for their use of it. I believe they will be punished for their use for it. I believe people will eventually stop giving them super chats, and by the time that happens, they will be in a position where they have made themselves dependent on super chats. So it's going to bite them all in the ass. Eventually. So that's going to happen, in my opinion. And it's not my job to go to them and tell them, ha, 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 this is going to happen to you. I'm basically just telling them, this is what I think will happen to you. You shouldn't make yourself dependent on super chats. In fact, the best thing would be if you don't use them at all.
So what should they make themselves dependent? Have you told Mundane Matt and Tonkasaw to get real jobs?
Well, if you want to make a video of YouTube, then make it off Patreon. Make good videos, put them on your Patreon, and tell people that, okay, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to pay me for it. But don't pay me to read the news to you. I mean, hell, that's just ridiculous.
So, Kraut, you're in a situation now where I suppose we're at the beginning of the year. I suppose this is a blank slate for you. There's nothing really skeleton-wise in the closet, I hope, that could be revealed, that could be leaked, that could be split in half with an axe. I mean, what is there to reveal, Kraut? I mean, this is a blank slate for you, right?
What I do privately? What do you mean? Embarrassing facts about my life. There's the thing I sent you in private DMs to.
Well, is 2019 a fresh start for you?
How do you mean a fresh start? It's a fresh start.
Well, it's there in the wording. Is it a fresh start for you? Is this a clean break?
I hope to be making more videos, but the sad fact is that the way I make videos now requires more time, unfortunately. But I'll see to it. Maybe I can make more. But fresh start. The one thing I can tell you, I guess, and that's something that I learned over the course of the last year, is that you should never join a community on YouTube. And I will never join another community on YouTube ever again.
You say that as the head of a Discord server.
Yes, I own a Discord server. What's the problem with that?
That's a community. Online.
A community of YouTubers. If I have a community of people who watch my videos, people who are based around discussing my videos with me in a Discord server, that is not the same thing as people who, as a group of YouTubers who are united by some supposed cause. That is the really ridiculous thing.
So I take it you're disavowing Shit Rat, Mundane Matt, Tonkasaur,
I'm not
and Dralister.
Any of them. I'm not disavowing anyone. I find disavowing to be a pointless exercise, to be honest.
But you're going to leave the groups you're in with them and go alone. Be a lone cowboy.
Dude,
be an eternal crap.
What do you mean? Leave the groups with them, be alone, do your own thing. Everyone always does their own thing. Everyone always does their own videos in the end.
So what's the problem being in a community of YouTubers?
The problem with being in a community of YouTubers is that these people... sorry. Particularly in the group of people who made... sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
Particularly in this group of people who made anti-social justice videos, the reason why it is wrong being in a community is because they lied to themselves about, being united by a cause when there was no such thing. Jesus Christ.
How much blood came out, Kraut?
None at all.
I should tell our viewers that I'm conducting this interview at the foot of Kraut's deathbed. This is his last will and testament.
It's not. It's just I quit smoking because I literally got to a point where if I walked up the stairs, I was out of breath. And that's just fucking hell. Whew. And now what's basically happening is you have these small hair in the throat that when you smoke, they get destroyed through the smoking. And now they're growing back. And they're scratching everything up. And I cough a shit ton. Especially with the vaping. So, yeah. Sorry for this.
It's okay, Kraut. So... you were explaining to us why there wasn't it was misguided to go full anti-SJW because there wasn't anything there to really go against.
No. You can make videos on whatever the fuck you want. Make videos against social justice all you want. That's your decision to make. What I'm saying is don't lie to yourself about why you make videos. Don't tell yourself that you're making videos to further some cause when you're in fact only just doing it to make money.
So, is this the argument you're levying at Sargon?
Is that the argument I levy to Sargon? No, I do think that Sargon legit believes in everything he says, at least to a certain degree. He made it his livelihood by now, but if you ever had a private conversation with him, he does legit believe in everything he says.
Sorry, didn't you just say prior to this that people were lying to themselves when they were saying they were doing it for a cause?
Some people, I believe, were lying to themselves.
Oh, now it's some people.
I'm not going to tell you who believes what in that regard. That's not for me to reveal. I mean, I know that a lot of people were very eager, especially after the drama, to just show my DMs to people and to show who actually believes what and who privately says what to who and about who and why this and why that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I have to disappoint you there. I believe it would be entertaining, especially for you who I was told is a drama YouTuber, but I'm not going to do that. It's not going to happen.
That's fine. That's okay. That's okay, Kraut. Now, you DM'd me on the pretext of thinking that I was PPP. Now, I'm incredibly interested in this. How did you come to know who PPP was?
Oh, yeah, he trolled me pretty successfully.
I'm sorry, what, Kraut? You roboted there for me.
He trolled me, and he did so pretty successfully.
What was the troll, Kraut?
He contacted me pretending to be a subscriber. Maybe he is subscribed, I don't know, but being a supporter of the channel. And fished for information.
What was the information he gathered?
I think I showed him the task force server, but not the task force, sorry. The what was it called again? The library server, yes. The bot I created that automatically archives people's tweets and creates a backlog of people's tweets so they can never be deleted. I believe that is all he got out of it.
What was the goal of that one, Kraut? Would you call that one a gate off or a troll?
That is not yet fully appreciated. Like, it's not yet fully complete. The interest in it is, like, first off, I started it because someone deleted a tweet and I hadn't archived it and I was frustrated by it.
Who was the person that deleted the tweet?
I think it was Alt Hype who deleted a tweet, and I had not archived that tweet. It was a tweet in which he told people to go and dislike someone's video or something like that. Really petty shit. But anyway, I was really disappointed that I hadn't archived it. So I thought about creating a Discord service, you know, a thread system, where you could archive people's tweets automatically using the Discord bots, right?
And what would you do with this archive? Would you send this information onto your paymasters, or?
The thing is, as time moved on and I looked at it, I believe it is perfect for studying the interaction between people, how news spreads, how fake news spreads, how propaganda spreads, maybe even how memes spread, you know? Who really popularizes memes on social media? How people interact on social media. You remember that bollocks social media influencer study that was published half a year ago or something, which was based on completely loose data that made absolutely no sense? Well, with this bot, there's actually an opportunity to gather real data to base the study on. And
well, whose tweets would you be archiving? You'd be archiving those on the alt-right.
Well, we would end up archiving hundreds of channels, because a system that could be created, for example, is that every Twitter account with more than 10,000 followers automatically gets added into the botting system if it retweets one of the people who is already in the system. And that way we can get to see, for example, like one of the interesting things that we found is that alt-hype and several other alt-right figures were, for example, retweeted on a regular basis by people like Ann Coulter, or your regular Republican congressman or senator or other politicians or stuff like that. And it's a process in which these people, on a regular basis tweet at these big verified accounts in the hopes of getting retweeted themselves. A kind of ideologically motivated social climbing. And way to spread your ideological beliefs. And I believe that is a fascinating thing to observe, to study, and to maybe draw some conclusions out of.
What would the conclusion be? What would the conclusion be?
Well, I can tell you that, because that's something I recently discussed with someone observing the data there as well.
This is Mundane Matt, isn't it? This is Mundane Matt, who was also named as an alternative influencer.
No, it's not Mundane Matt. You're wrong on that one.
But he was in the alternative influencer article.
No, it's the guy with who I was talking about. This was a sociologist from Germany, and a friend of mine who's also looking at the data. And the conclusion that we came to is banning as a tool doesn't work on social media. Banning doesn't work. As you know, Twitter on a regular basis bans alt-right accounts in the hopes that this would somehow quell whatever the fuck they spread. And I can confidently say that that does not work, because the alt-right, to spread this message, is not dependent upon, big propagandistic entities on social media, but on an army and horde of smaller Twitter accounts that guarantee at least 300 retweets and likes. I believe, that's my personal conclusion, that one thing that would dramatically improve the environment on Twitter would be not the continuous banning, but, for example, the introduction of a dislike button for tweets. That's something that I believe.
I mean, that hasn't stopped YouTube videos from getting popular in alt-right circles, has it?
What do you mean? YouTube videos?
Well, there's a dislike bar on alt-right content that's audio-visual. I don't see why that would stop the spread of it.
It wouldn't necessarily stop the spread of it, but it would. The dislike button, in my opinion, would also give the opportunity to show a disagreement and discontent to a certain degree. The only method you have right now for showing disagreement or discontent with something on Twitter would be by responding or quote tweeting, which is in most cases often falling into bait, into trap. On Twitter in particular.
So, Kraut, you've archived all of this information, and what you were going to write up a little thesis about this, and then send it to the mainstream press, send it to the people at Twitter, the heads of Twitter.
No. I wouldn't have.
But how are you going to change the world?
I'm not intending to change the world. We would have tried to feed it into a system, a computer system, through a friend of mine.
Yeah, to what end?
Spit out statistics, to gather knowledge.
And pass the knowledge to where? Where would you pass the knowledge to?
Well, maybe we could write a paper on it, but other than that, I could maybe make a video, but that would be the end to it. That would be.
So all of this effort would be to simply allow you to make a video. Tens of thousands of tweets archived.
Yes, sifting through all the data, etc., etc.
Just so you could make a video saying the alt-right is bad.
Not the alt-right is bad, but how they spread their message.
Do you call that a neurosis you've got? An almost pathological obsession?
Why a pathological obsession?
How long would this video be? Surely you wouldn't pour over 10,000 tweets.
Of course I'm not going to pour over 10,000 tweets. Certainly not.
Why gather them?
The way Discord works is that you're capable of searching through threads using keywords, and you're capable of determining certain keyword, picking out certain keywords, and etc., etc. That allows you to sift through this massive amount of data to find specific things for use. It's practical.
So PPP contacts you and you give him the keys to the chocolate factory straight away. It doesn't sound believable to me. You instantly throw him the forbidden knowledge. Why would you show him the forbidden knowledge of this?
Because he asked what the that was the genius of it. I think he wanted me to admit that the threads in the original server were a gathering people's doxes, and I said no, that wasn't it. But I can show you what they were. Basically, that was it.
But PPP. How is it a gay op then if he's just asking you a question and you're giving him the answer? It doesn't sound like a gay op.
Because he pretended to want to give me the docs of alt-righters. And I was like, nah, I don't do that. Thank you. He pretended to wanting to give me the docs of alt-righters, which was, yeah.
Are you still there, Kraut? Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, yes, all right. Fantastic. And then you thought all of these months later, that you could contact PPP over Discord and say,
You
"Hi, are you
contacted
that
me.
fat guy with the glasses?"
No, you contacted me.
Last week.
You contacted me from my DMs. Kraut, do you want on the Toad stream? And I just the name
On the Toad stream, yes.
The
Did you know what the
name
Toad stream
people.
was? I was
I have
recruiting
no
a
idea.
super team. I was recruiting a super team of streamers and failed YouTube personalities. I had you, I had Coach, I had PPP, all lined up to go on Toad stream. And it didn't take
I would
off.
never go on a stream with Coach Redpill. I would never go on a stream with Coach Redpill. But yeah, your name, People's Populist Press, just rang a bell. It just, I thought I heard it somewhere before.
But it didn't ring a bell instantly, though, did it, Kraut? Because you've waited a week to say, "Wait a minute, are you that guy? Are you that fat guy with the glasses?"
Yeah,
that ran a gay off on me.
Because he was mentioned again in a different thread, in a different server. And I just,
is this the Tonka server? Is this has Tonka Saw been talking about PPP?
I'm not gonna tell you which server it is. I'm not a private server. The Tonka server barely ever talks about this drama, to be honest. Like the times that I am in it.
Did you make a meme of PPP then?
Did I make a meme of PPP? I think I did, yeah. Yeah, I did. I still have it around, I believe.
What was the meme, Kraut? Can you describe it?
I drew him in a childish manner.
What did you draw lolicon of PPP? What?
No. Let me find it. Pardon me. Fuck. I have too many folders.
Are these folders filled with memes on various people that you've created? Is this all Kraut OC we are seeing?
Yeah, I have a ton of meme folders, unfortunately.
The thing is, I don't even know if that's sarcastic, because you've got tens of thousands of alt-right tweets archived by a bot that you're concluding a paper on. So I don't know what's sarcastic and what isn't, really.
Every time I make a meme, I just save it onto the same folder, and it's now just this burgeoning, exploding shit heap of different memes. Every time I create or steal one, I should say.
You got suspended from Twitter, didn't you? You were give me now memes on Twitter, and now you're gone. Why were you suspended?
I was reported for threatening to commit suicide.
Right. I mean, yeah, we spoke about this earlier on, but I mean, are you suicidal?
No.
There was a hesitation there.
No, there was no hesitation. There was a hesitation now that I answered to that because I didn't know how to answer to that. There was a hesitation.
Well, do you think it's all worth it, though, going back to university? You're in your 30s. You know, you've got this reputation online. A potential employer looks at you and sees all of the shit from Kraut and T, that saga. Do you think it's worth it doing all of this now? Or do you not think it's just worth disconnecting and going somewhere else and trying to varg it, go off the grid, start again?
Dude, that's a weird suggestion, because all this shit is just on the internet anyway. But also to the extent of that, I never really had aspirations of making some kind of great career. I mean, the biggest thing that I probably aspire for is making a documentary about something at some point, honing in my editing skills to such an extent that I'm capable of making a feature-length film myself.
And what would that be on? What would the documentary be on? What would the subject be?
I don't know. For now, the important thing is to harness the skills in the first place. Teach yourself.
I mean, if I type in your name right now, it comes up with lots of stuff that really wouldn't... Well, anyone meeting you on the street and then Googling you, they aren't going to be, I don't know, impressed, outstanded. They're not going to come across with the impression that you're a good person to be around. Do you think you've been tarnished by the internet?
No, not necessarily.
Doesn't it depress you that
No,
That people
it
you
doesn't.
meet, strangers you meet on the streets.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't for a very good reason.
Why?
It's because most people I know in real life don't know what I do on the internet, or at least don't care.
Or maybe they're just not telling you because all they have to do is Google your name, and then all of this stuff comes up, and they mustn't come away with a great impression of you. Do people distance themselves from you the moment they meet you, or shortly after?
No, I have yet to notice someone distancing themselves from me because of this. Like, I didn't make most of my friends through the internet. Sorry.
Are you well known on your? Are you well known on your campus? Like, do people recognize you and your channel?
Oh, that no. I try to avoid most other students because they're all 19-year-olds. The only person on the campus that I hang out with is someone who is my age, 26, 27 years old. I don't want to. That's a part of why I regret, to a certain extent, going back to uni, because I'm now surrounded by kids every time I'm there, which is annoying.
Well, no one forced you to go back. What made you go back?
No,
and not get a job?
I did go. I did go out of my own interest, to be honest, because there's something that I wanted to learn. But yeah, that's it.
Did you apply for jobs?
Hmm?
I mean, did you apply for jobs? Did you work a job?
No. You mean when I was off the internet?
No, I
Yes,
mean
I did.
before you went back to university.
Yeah, I did. I worked briefly for a few
And
months.
what? Do you just decide you weren't for the workplace? You didn't want to be this. You didn't. Were you feeling slightly
It was a temporary
down?
job. It was a seasoned job.
Right.
It is something that I did.
And then I take it you couldn't get any more work, so you went back into the safety net of education.
I still work. Just little jobs here and then. Not full time either.
So, I mean, do you have any personal goals then? Do you want to own your own home, own your own car, have a wife, have a family? I mean, do you have any of these basic goals?
Yeah. These are pretty basic goals that everyone has and should have, I guess. Or maybe not necessarily should have, but yeah, certainly.
Do you think they're going to turn out for you? Or?
Oh, I'm pretty sure of it.
I mean, with that cough you've got, it doesn't sound like you've got much time, Kraut.
I know my doctor told me, though, that this is normal when you quit smoking. If you're a heavy smoker, have been a heavy smoker for quite some time, when you quit, you get punished for doing it. But to be honest with you, the cough was worse when I was still smoking. My doctor guided me through this, told me that it is in total a 2-year process. That a human lung takes 2 years to fully recover from the effects of chain smoking. So it's going to be 2 years of regular coughing and recovering. And I'm really looking forward to what happens after these 2 years. But I feel like it sounds weird with me coughing in the background, but I do feel substantially better ever since I quit. Like the effects on your health are immediately felt.
Is your skin getting sort of brighter?
It's not just the skin. It's not just the skin. Like I told you before, when I walked up the stairs to my apartment, I was usually out of breath every time I was up there. That's no longer the case. I'm no longer out of breath when I walk up the stairs. I can also walk long distances again without falling out of breath. The only thing that happens with me is when I get this urge to have a nicotine intake and I vape, I start coughing.
Did the smoking inhibit your erectile performance, Kraut?
Nope. But that probably would have been the case if I had smoked for another 10 years.
Did you ask the doctor that question?
No, the doctor told me. He gave
the
me a
doctor said if you
rundown.
carry on, you're going to have more and more erectile dysfunction.
He went on a tangent over the negative effects, listed a lot of them to me. By that point, Yeah. Well, by that point, I'd already reached a point where I thought that I had to stop this shit anyway. But anyway, why are we talking about this? Is that in some way relevant to what you're trying to achieve?
Well, let's talk about your video, because I actually
Which
did a
one?
stream on your video. You're in defense of Battlefield 5. And we
right.
picked it apart, and we spoke about how, well, initially, I felt that your narration was completely off kilter with the actual soundtrack. It sounded as though you were, or you had just slit your wrists, and you were speaking in this monotone, unemotional oratory, and not really saying much. And you were masking that with an upbeat, high-energy soundtrack. And I thought that was, well, I mean, how do you respond to that?
That you're not saying much.
Well, so am I correct in saying that you're
the phrase "you are not saying much"? It's really just like that. It's just literally a phrase that doesn't say much, is it? So you think my voice was monotone? Okay. What
no,
else?
and I think right. So I thought your narration was one note. I
Okay,
thought you
my
must have.
narration.
It sounded
Yes.
as though you recorded it in the space of what, 10 minutes while you were, trying to record it while someone was out. So you didn't really go back and try and make it high energy.
You think? I dislike videos that are highly emotional. Like that's actually something I'm trying to get away from. I don't like people who pour their emotion and their life into what they make. Oh yes, feel for me and feel with me on this issue. No.
But to be a documentary maker, you must be able to tell the story in an emphatic way and give some sort of entertaining, engaging narration. Not just a washing over of words in a monotone manner.
So you need to be entertained to listen to something. There's no such thing as just genuine interest to you. It always has to be entertaining.
Absolutely.
Oh dear me. That's
But when you read your script and your narration, it sounded as though you were reading one word at a time. I am Kraut, and I will be doing a defense of Battlefield 5. I mean, there was no emotion to that narration.
Does it really?
No, I mean, look, this is an honest criticism. There was no narration, and I felt that you.
No. You're bringing this up. I want to listen to it because I'm interested if that is the case.
And I felt as though you knew this as you were editing, as you spent time with your own voice editing it into the autistic tapestry of In Defense of Battlefield 5. And that's why you smeared across that high energy music to try and counteract the nihilistic narration.
The nihilistic narration. I actually slapped the music into it because a couple of months ago, I talked to someone who makes music himself and gave me tips on how to use music in videos. And it's something that I'm going to build into future videos. I'm still at the beginning phase of this, but that's the reason why. It's been something that I've been doing for quite a while now. For the last 4 videos or something. It's something I'm genuinely interested in doing and creating. But yeah, you're right. It is somewhat monotone in the narration. But is that necessarily a bad thing?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, or else it sounds like words are washing over the viewer.
Not necessarily. It could
the
also
mix
be the case
also, I mean, I'm sure you can hear the mix there. The music's quite loud. It almost overpowers your narration.
Oh yeah. That's a mistake I made that is going to be rectified by the next one. That's a genuine mistake that happened. I forgot to make that last edit on the music audio track.
And also, some of the editing decisions you used, such as when you, I think later on in the video, you say, you list off things and you give very obvious editing choices. So you say questions and a question mark comes up on within the video.
Oh yeah, simplistic, I know.
Well, I mean, it's not simplistic. It's almost patronizing. It's like you're editing it for 5-year-olds.
Okay, okay. If you're annoyed by that, I think that says more about you, to be honest. Why do you show this question mark? Jesus Christ. Oh boy. No, 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 no. If you think that's patronizing, that says more about you.
Do you not think it's patronizing, though, to illustrate every word within your sentence with a different
when
image?
you write down a question, do you end that with a question mark, or do you just put into brackets at the end of it? Oh, I would put a question mark there, but I do believe that it indeed would be far too patronizing, my dear sir. That's sorry, no. Jeez.
Well, one would feel, Kraut, if one's narration was good enough, then one wouldn't need to spell out to the viewer that they've just asked a question with an image.
Well, spell out the question with an image. Well, if you are going to make images in your video, which after all videos are about, it's about moving images, right? That's the reason why we do videos. That's the reason why we film. Then you have to somehow symbolize a question when you get to a question inside the video itself. You have to somehow show, okay, at this point, I'm asking you a question. You have to visualize the process of asking a question.
The batting an eyelid moment also, where you're not content with just saying batting an eyelid, because maybe the viewer hasn't quite registered it under the monotone narration. So you've decided to make that visual.
That was purely by mistake, to be honest. But yeah, funny that ended up happening there.
But there's a lot of literal video editing going on there that doesn't really speak to someone who's, I don't know, adept at video creation.
Adept to video creation? What do you mean, speak to someone who's adept to video creation? Someone who...
Well, would you not say it's amateurish to illustrate every single word of a sentence with a different image during a video? As though the person's got ADHD or something?
Not necessarily. If you're staring at the same image over the course of several minutes, that's what I find amateurish. Not putting any effort into having the images move or something like that. That to me is amateurish. The challenge to me is to create a kind of artwork frame, some sort of art or means to move the images themselves. That to me is the challenge. To make it gripping and enthralling just through looking at it. It's, to create a kind of symphony between the pictures that move, what is spoken, and the music track you play into it.
But there's no sympathy or symphony even in the Battlefield 5 in Defensive video. It's more of a cacophony. You've got a far too loud audio mix going on.
Mm-hmm,
you've got an ADHD patronizing way of editing. And the overall script of the video makes no sense.
If you say so.
No, but it doesn't make any sense. Because it doesn't stand alone. Because it has to be part of a multi-part, unrevealed, ambiguous argument. So it's not coherent.
If you feel like it is, that's fine for you. I had people tell me differently. If you say that's the case, that's your criticism.
Well, I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you feel that In Defense of Battlefield 5 was a coherent argument?
I'd say it was a shitty title, but I've never been good at fighting
No, it was the video. We're talking about the video, not the title. Do you think it was a coherent argument that you made there?
Yes.
So why are you making it a multi-part series?
Because there are other things that need to be argued about, other things that have to be debated, that cases need to be made about.
And what would those things be? That you haven't already touched on apparently coherent arguments about Battlefield 5?
Well, one of the videos that I was going to make is something that I'm going to rip out of the Battlefield thing because I believe it's deserving of its video in its own video in its entirety, which is that, in my opinion, the idea of historical accuracy in entertainment media, be it in video games or in movies, etc., is nonsense in general. that there's no such thing as historical accuracy, and that it's not something to strive for in the first place. I believe that the best artwork out there about historical facts and occurrences are the least historical accurate and those with the most creative liberty. So that's going to be subject within itself in the future. But other than that, what is there to make? There's a case to be made, arguments to be made, for example, about the various different campaigns used. The fact that the critics of the game ignored the best campaign in the game, which was the German campaign, which was incredibly well done, stories well told, etc., etc. The criticisms that were leveled against the African campaign, the Free French African campaign, something that I believe I would like to address. Another thing is the woman in the campaign itself. And like I said before, the women in the multiplayer in uniform with the prosthetic arms, they're completely irrelevant, in my opinion, because that is not the result of some kind of historical accuracy or anything like that. It's the result of developments in multiplayer gaming in general. And the evidence you can use for that is the fact that you will find the same features in Call of Duty World War II and in other first-person shooter games.
What would your argument be against the very legitimate criticism that it was a buggy piece of shit? The whole game was poorly made.
Yeah, it was
a cash grab.
It was a buggy piece of shit, a severely buggy piece of shit.
And it was also a cash grab.
Are you sure about that?
I'm certain
everything, every game being put out there is a cash grab, if we're being honest.
So what's the point in defending it so much then? If there's a legitimate criticism of it being a flawed game,
that much because I'm also making criticism.
Well, if you're doing if you're doing a multi-part video series,
the entire point, yeah, well, because it's my
called "In Defense of Battlefield 5,"
because it is
that's you defending it.
Because it is in my interest to do so. Because there are certain things, aspects, decisions that the developers made that I believe ought to be defended and not just discarded. I am fascinated by the fact that you want to talk about this. I thought you would be talking about Warskin stuff, but this is really refreshing, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be here on every step of your reboot, Kraut. Every different reinvention, we will be here.
Fine by me. That's fine by me. That's fine by me. Interesting.
So you don't think you'll be carrying on your Dresden videos or your...
The Scars of History one? Well, the problem I have is... the Scars of History one, I have to make one on the famines. That I have to do some more research with. And the one with the Imperial, yeah, that's going to come down the line at some point. Like, the Dresden one is actually part of the Scars of History series. But anyway, going on, the one thing with the Imperial Japan, that's something that I already told you, the infuriating thing that I ordered the translation of a diary of Ishiwara Kanji, and I still haven't received it months later, and it's frustrating as fuck. And at this point, I don't know what to do, if I should just abandon the series completely or order the translation again somewhere else or something else. So, yeah.
So, I mean, you're waiting on research then, is that correct?
I think at that point I can confidently say that I'm no longer waiting because it's not happening. Like, I think, how long ago? 5 months? 5 months? Waiting 5 months after I spent money ordering a book? I believe it's safe to say that it's not going to come anymore.
But why is this book part of the linchpin of your argument, if it hasn't been translated?
Because it is well, it's not the linchpin of the argument, but it is an incredibly important document. It's literally, you're literally in the mind of someone who started the Second World War.
Well, why can't you just reference the book then? I mean, because that's what you'll be doing in the video anyway.
Because I would like to.
You know exactly what the book's about. Yeah, you know exactly what the book's about. You know exactly what the text is.
I would like to have. I'd like to have the full thing and read the full thing and try to find maybe more segments that I can use in the video. Like, I know some phrases of it. I know how Ishiwara Kanji wanted to start a race war with the United States. To cleanse North America of white people and create some kind of Asian colony there and stuff like that.
So really would you disavow that? Shit. Would you disavow?
Of course I would disavow. No, it's just the fascinating aspect of it is the rhetoric used, the way he speaks, the way he argues his case, the way he talks about the supposed sacred duties of a united Asian race, and the Buddhist fanaticism aspect that you find somewhat ridiculous, but is still an important aspect of the Second World War in Asia. All these things, I hope to find more about them in that diary. And it's very unfortunate that I don't have that diary. I wish I had it.
So, I mean, we're all familiar with your spat with Black Pigeon Speaks. Would you say that you go about your video research in a different manner than he does?
How do you mean? That I don't just read articles?
Well, I mean, it seems that you try and source the text yourself, get a first-hand interpretation.
Oh no, I won't be doing sources anymore in the description. Like most of my videos, I do them with Discord servers. I post the links and everything in the Discord server. Like I create a server for every new video I make. I post the links and then I browse through that. I might make those Discord servers public as sources in the future, but the thing is, people don't really appreciate the sourcing. They don't really appreciate when you, and some things are hard to source. Like when you read a book on a topic, how are you going to source a book? Are you going to link to Amazon?
So, I mean, is this sort of about face inspired by your run-in with Black Pigeon Speaks then? Because if I recall, you called him out as not using this about face, your U-turn, your change of tack. Because if I recall, you went after Black Pigeon Speaks for not really providing sources.
Well, that's not why. That was not the main thing I went after him for. The main thing was that he's a liar. That he frequently lies in his videos. That he distorts reality, and also that he's a plagiarist. That's the interesting aspect of it. That he steals mainstream media articles and sells them back to people, claiming that they're not mainstream media. It's fucking amazing.
Doesn't Mundane Matt steal and Sargon steal mainstream media articles and regurgitate them back to people?
Well,
and then pay money on them and monetize it.
The difference is there. Like I'm gonna be very frank with you about this. My favorite Sargon videos are not the This Week in Stupid videos or anything like that. They're his longer, more analytical ones. The one like Illiberal Liberalism. That's one of my favorite Sargon video. But the ones where they just read news articles and react to them, I dislike these. But there's also a difference between those and what Black Pigeon Speaks does. Because Black Pigeon Speaks just reads the article and does not even give his own opinion about them. He just reads the article and pretends it's his opinion. That's what he does. Sargon doesn't do that. Mundane Matt doesn't do that. Sargon and Mundane Matt, they just read the news to you and then give you their opinion on the news.
I don't know. It sounds like you're the one distorting reality here, Kraut.
Why do you have an example of Sargon and Matt reading news articles and pretending that it's their opinions?
Yes,
you do.
Type in Mundane Matt, and you click on any one of those videos, and you will see him read aloud an article and say, "Yeah, I agree with that."
Really?
And it will be loaded with adverts. It will have his Patreon show.
Oh God, please! Whoa, are you fucking sure about that? the videos of him. I could use that really well. I would love that, please. If you have one of these, please send it to me. Oh, lovely.
But that's why you went after Black Pigeon Speaks, was it?
Oh yeah, that's something I could definitely rub into Matt's face as well.
But I mean, it sounds strange because you weren't going after stuff like BuzzFeed or Watch Mojo, who we all know plagiarizes and regurgitates stuff. Why go after Black Pigeon Speaks and not Watch Mojo?
Because Black Pigeon Speaks claims to be, this alternative media personality who is anti-mainstream media and so forth.
Yeah, so do Mundane Matt, so does Sargon.
And then in the end, all he does is steals mainstream media articles. Well, the thing
is,
I still have to see Sargon reading mainstream media articles to people and pretending that it is his opinion.
would you not agree that you went after Black Pigeon Speech because he was on the alt-right? And not because he did this?
Well, he claims he's not alt-right, which is open to debate. But also because I find him genuinely disagreeable.
Did you think he was going to be an easy win for your return?
Oh, he was. I mean, he spurged. He made 7 videos in the time frame of 4 days, and one of which he breaks down in tears, and others he directly calls on his audience to go dislike my videos. It's fucking hilarious that he did all that. So, yeah, to me it is a win.
So it's great then if your behaviour causes people to not feel great about themselves.
Not feel great about themselves? How do you mean?
Well, I mean, if he's crying on a video, it doesn't sound like he's feeling great about himself.
There's actually debate amongst my little group if the tears might have been fake. We're not sure, but it's just the pathetic, childish way he reacted, like a little kid. That was just lovely.
Are there any more targets on the list?
Targets?
Okay, people to
I
point out the flaws of.
I guess everyone.
No, there is a list, and we let's not pretend and patronise each other.
No, there isn't a list. There is a list.
There is.
No, there isn't a list. There isn't a list of people that I just make up and go like, oh yeah, I'm going after this one next to this one next. Like the original list was just to archive tweets, but right now, when I think of it, like if you wonder if I'm going to make any videos on any particular person in the near future, that's a tough question, to be honest. That's a really tough question. It depends on who annoys me next, I guess, because I usually make videos on a person.
You mentioned earlier on in this stream that you have bones to pick with Jordan Peterson. Do you think you're going to be?
I'd love to make a video on Jordan Peterson down the road, just not only to see how his cult would react, but just the fact that there's so much dumb shit he does that a friend of mine actually found this out, that you can get Jordan Peterson's book more or less for 50 cents. Because there is this friend of mine found this weird thing. It's kind of a coincidence that he found it. A sailor's handbook, a handbook, a guide for sailors in the US Navy from the 1970s on how to behave properly and conduct yourself properly in the public. And it has almost the similar exact same advice that Jordan Peterson supposedly is so creatively inventing for people. Just pointing out that what Jordan Peterson sells is old. It's old news. It's garbage. He's just regurgitating shit that has been around for years and years and years. This
is an incredibly hot take, Kraut. You're saying that Jordan Peterson stole all of his shtick from
I'm not saying he's stealing it.
How to be a sailor.
I'm not saying he's stealing. I'm not saying he's stealing. I'm saying, well, there's actually an archive YouTube channel. It's a history channel. It's one of these that few people know about. I'll have to find it for you. What it does is it uploads videos, for example, footage filmed by journalists in Vietnam in the 1960s and so forth and so forth. And there's actually a video made on the basis of that handbook. And when you watch it, you can see that this is almost exactly the same shit that Jordan Peterson spouts himself. Let me find it for you.
Kraut, are you aware of the Christchurch, New Zealand shooting? Is that registered on your radar?
Yes.
What are your opinions on that?
Horrible.
Did your Twitter bot pick him up?
No, I don't think so. My Twitter bot doesn't. Nobody is on my Twitter without having more than 5k followers at the very least.
So they're all celebrities then on this Twitter bot?
Yes.
But it doesn't sound like these celebrities are the problem if it's these lone lunatics going
smoke
after people and shooting. You know, you could have stopped a shooting if you actually widened the net a bit.
No, I don't. I would have stopped the shooting if I widened the net of it.
It just sounds strange to go after celebrities who aren't really going to be extreme because they want to stay on the internet. Than just casting the net a bit wider, and you could have presented New Zealand. You know that.
No.
Does it weigh heavy on your conscience that 49 Muslims died?
How do you mean?
Because of your inaction.
For it.
How so?
Well, I could also say that it's because of your inaction.
I didn't create a Twitter bot to catch the alt-right.
Well, I didn't create it to catch the alt-right. I created it to archive tweets.
To what end?
To gather data, to find out more, to learn something.
Have you found your Jordan Peterson guidebook?
It's not the guidebook I'm looking for. I'm looking for a video. God damn it! It's not the book I'm looking for. It's the fuck. Just give me a few more minutes. I will probably find it.
Kraut, you're half English, is that correct? You're half Anglo, is that right?
Yes.
And that's where your accent comes from, is it?
I wouldn't say that. I think it comes from being raised in a largely English-speaking family abroad.
But then where does the German come from then? I mean, because
my German accent sounds like is even more of a mess than my English accent.
Well, I mean, your voice at the moment sounds like you're German and you're pretending to be English.
And my German accent sounds like I'm foreign and pretending to be German.
Can you talk some German for us? Can you say something in German? Insult me in German, please.
Ich hasse es, wenn mich Leute fragen, etwas in Deutsch zu sprechen, also vor allem, wenn mich Englisch sprechen, die jetzt darum fragen, dass ich irgendetwas in Deutsch spreche, da ich meistens nicht wirklich weiß, wie ich darauf antworten soll. Okay, there you go.
Do you ever feel misplaced then when you're in certain social situations? If you sound like this weird conflation of two different countries, and it means you're an outsider.
Yeah. Wherever I am, people always believe I'm a foreigner. That's just part of living.
So, I mean, in many ways, you're an eternal outsider.
You could say that, I guess. You could say that. But the other interesting aspect of it is you kind of pick up the linguisms, if that makes sense, of the countries that you are in.
Have you found your video, Kraut?
I'm trying a different search term. Yes, I found it. 1976 U.S. Navy training film.
So is this the smoking gun that's going to bury Jordan Peterson?
It's not a smoking gun. It's just in its presentation and what is being told. It is extremely similar to the kind of shit that Jordan Peterson spouts.
But come on, Kraut, it's disingenuous to suggest that Jordan Peterson's magically invented the whole idea of cleaning up your personal space. You know, that hasn't been around for thousands of years.
Yeah. I'm personally amazed by how many followers Jordan Peterson has got. I just, and the fact that people think he's some sort of prophet, a great philosopher, when he's almost a huckster. He just sells people shit, regurgitated bollocks, just stuff that has been around for ages.
So would you set yourself on a higher pedestal above Jordan Peterson? Would you say you have more integrity?
Why would you think I would do that?
Well, are you the better intellectual?
I'm not an intellectual at all.
Well, then it sounds like someone in a glass house throwing stones, does it not? If you're both in the same
Why? I'm not in the
quagmire.
glass house. Why are we both in the same quagmire? He's not in a quagmire at all. He's doing pretty well for himself.
No, you've got a
selling this
negative
nonsense to as
opinion
much
of Jordan
people.
Peterson. You've got a negative opinion
No.
of Jordan Peterson, so you must hold yourself in a higher regard than him.
Well, or I just hold his actions at a lower standard, but not necessarily by the standard that I set for myself, but a standard that I set in general, maybe. Or maybe I just disagree with him. You know, it doesn't necessarily bring morality in it or ethical standards.
That makes no sense, Kraut. Like, if you disagree with Jordan Peterson because you think he's a huckster, right? You think he's selling people a lie or selling something that's universally true.
Just selling people
you think
shit that you don't have to buy.
Right. There you go. Right. So surely you think that that's bad behavior. You disagree with it.
No, I think it's ridiculous. First and foremost, I find it pathetic that people buy it.
So you're feeling a negative emotion towards it, right? You'd at least consent to that.
Yeah, disregard, rejection.
Right, there you go. And this is behavior you don't necessarily partake in it, because if you do, then you'd be self-loathing. You'd be self-loathing if you do.
I don't sell people unoriginal stuff. I think that's what you say. I don't.
So therefore, you'd set yourself on a different plane.
I don't pretend to be a philosopher. I don't pretend to be some intellectual.
No, but you'd set yourself on a different plane to Jordan Peterson. You want to be more original than him, or you claim to be more original than him, right?
That's actually a topic for its own debate. Like, it takes a degree of originality to sell bullshit as well. Something that I have to admit to. Godwinson, could you give me 5 minutes so I could use the bathroom?
Okay, Kraut, that's fine. You're allowed to have a toilet break.
I'll be right back.
If you're just joining us, I'm at the foot of Kraut's deathbed, and we're doing his last will and testament. He's not well. He's got minutes left to live. And look, while Kraut is away, I will also top up and get a drink. So we'll be right back after this intermission.
Thank you.
Have you had your poo, Kraut?
I had my piss, yes.
Now, there's a rumor out there that you're surrounded by piss bottles. So, I mean, did you travel very far? Did you leave the room, or
what's a piss bottle? What is a piss bottle?
I don't know. I mean, people say that you are surrounded by them in your living environment.
What?
Bottles that were once filled with a liquid that was manufactured are now filled with your own urine and littered about your room. Can you deny that then, or confirm it?
Yes, I can deny that. I have. It's wow. People legitimately believe that.
I mean, this is the Kraut law, that you're surrounded by piss bottles, Kraut.
It's amazing how you can just make shit up about people. It really is. Piss bottles. Who, like what, like pissing into bottles and keeping them around?
That's right, Kraut. Yes, yeah, you keep little mementos of your urination.
Why would anyone do that? How would you even come up with something like that unless you do it yourself? Jesus Christ.
If you're so disgusted by it, Kraut, you should stop doing it.
Piss bottles. Is there any other stuff like that that people just claim about me?
I don't know. I'd have to look through the back catalogue. I mean, what's the whole axe stick split story?
That was a accident I had at a workplace.
That wasn't made up.
No. Actually, the funniest thing about that story is that I talked about this back when my channel only had 10k subs. Something that I never had as a secret because I find it hilarious myself that happened. I really do. So yeah.
I don't understand. You're splitting wood, and then you split your own wood in twain.
Well, I didn't split it. The wound was more of a very, very deep cut into the tip. A jab, you could say.
I assume it bled quite a bit, Kraut?
It was horrendously painful. Probably the most painful experience of my life. Yeah.
Did you have to go to hospital, or did you just sew it back up there and then?
No, I collapsed into myself. Colleagues called the ambulance. I was taken to hospital.
Why do you share that story then? It doesn't sound funny or humorous at all. Sounds horrific.
There's a fun part of it, which is the next day I woke up in a puddle of blood because after they had stitched it up and sent me home, I had a bone in the morning. They ripped the stitches back open.
You had a what, Kraut? You had a what?
A morning boner, and it's ripped the stitches open. So I had to get it stitched back together. Because they forgot to give me medication that prevents you from getting erections.
Well, I mean,
the duration of the wounds healing.
I mean, those were heady days, right? Because at the moment, I mean, with all the smoking and you having to give up because of your erectile dysfunction, surely you're trying to get back to those days where you could split your stitches in half with a morning glory.
Thank you. Well, it's just I assumed I didn't get why some people made a big deal out of it. People just talk about injuries that they had. I have a shit ton of scars all over my body. Injuries that I had. So I think it came up for the first time in a conversation about injuries and scars and stuff like that.
I can't say that I've got a load of injuries around my body. Maybe I have to reach 27 to be that, but I don't know. Why would you? Are you quite accident prone? Are you prone to self harm?
When I was a kid, I crushed the toes on my right foot, at least 3 of the toes, by having a crate of drinks fall onto them. I cut off the tip of my right middle finger, but it was stitched back on again.
What was this out of depression, or was this you trying to make something to eat?
Another accident. Various stuff like that. I had my nose broken twice. I had my jaw broken.
Having your nose broken and your jaw broken doesn't sound as though it was an accident. Did you get punched in the face?
That was me getting robbed and the shit kicked out of me when I was 19, 20 years old.
So you're 19, 20 years old and you're walking down the street and someone breaks your jaw and breaks your nose.
No, that's not how it happened. How it happened was I was buying cigarettes from a vending machine at must have been at 11 at night. And
sorry, I'll just mute him.
Oh, hello. Well, I was buying cigarettes at a vending machine, and this guy walked up to me and asked me for the change that I had gotten. And I said no, and he smashed my face into the vending machine. So he grabbed the bag off my head and smashed my face into the vending machine, and then kept punching me in the face until I went to the floor, and then he kept kicking my head. Yeah.
And this person was black?
No, Serbian. A Serbian immigrant, actually. The really infuriating part about that story is that he got away with it. Like, there was a police investigation. There was even a trial. But he turned up in court more or less with 4 friends of his who all testified that he wasn't there, and he got away. That was really infuriating. Really infuriating.
I mean, that's quite shocking to have happen to you at 19. Were you in hospital for that? I mean, your broken jaw, broken nose?
Yes, I had to have my nose was. It's still somewhat bent to the left a little bit. You can't really see it when you look at my face. You have to actually touch my nose to feel it, the slight bend going leftward. But my nose was completely smashed in. Like, it was flat and pointing leftward. Like, it had to be rearranged. I don't know how to properly take how that operation works. They lift up the bone you have in the nose and put it back into the correct position again. But yeah, it was also extraordinarily painful. Really painful.
So how long were you incapacitated for?
How do you mean incapacitated?
Well, I'm sure you didn't just get up the next day and start bouncing around getting cigarettes from vending machines.
I was lying on the sidewalk for quite a while.
Before you were found?
I woke up at some point, and I walked to hospital myself from there.
So no one came up and assisted you? This sounds terrible.
Nope.
What a horrible... Was this in Germany?
Well, you also have to keep in mind that it was early in the morning, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning in a small town on a Thursday. So I was going out drinking on a Wednesday evening. So not many people around at these late hours of the day. But this is like, it's actually 10 years ago now. Yeah.
Does it still stay with you?
How do you mean?
Like, do you have flashbacks to it? I mean, it sounds like you'd have PTSD.
No, I don't have flashbacks or anything from that particular moment. Like, the most depressing thing, the thing that actually still makes me angry to this day when I think about it, is the fact that he just got away without punishment. That he went to court and all he did was turn up with a few friends of his who testified that he wasn't even there, and basically this got him out of trouble. That's really, really infuriating to me, that you can cheat justice like that.
I've got PPP here. He's not a surprise guest. He's just...
Well, he's a fat guy, right? Yeah.
But I don't know what he'll say. He'll have to rejoin again because I don't know how to enable his microphone. So he'll have to leave and then rejoin.
You click on the arrow.
I think we'll be okay. I just wanted to, light up a cigarette here for my boy Kraut, which I know he can do.
Ah, fuck you.
I don't know if you could hear the sound of my Belmont lighting crowd. I don't know if you could hear that. Could you?
No, I couldn't hear it. Although you are incredibly loud. I have to
ask you. Is it the same vaping as smoking cigarettes, Kraut? Is it at all the same, or are you missing it?
No. I still honestly miss cigarettes. Like,
why did you quit it?
About that.
Why did you
Because
quit?
I felt unhealthy. It felt unhealthy.
But, I mean, do you enjoy your life less now that you're not smoking? Do you feel more stressed?
I feel healthier, to be honest. I feel like I have more energy.
Not by the sounds of your coughing, man. It sounds like you're dying. I'm kind of concerned for you.
Oh, yeah, well, that happens when you quit smoking, is your body removes a lot of trash that has collected in your body for quite some time. The coughing was worse a few months ago. Like, I was coughing up all the crap.
Full of fucking shit. Because I've quit smoking several times and have never had these symptoms. So unless you're fucking smoking like 3-pack a day, are you smoking like 3-pack a day? Like,
no. Oh, what I used to smoke. I used to smoke about 2 packs a day, 2.5 packs a day. Yeah.
Holy fuck, man! I can't imagine. Holy fuck! So why have you given up one of the great passions?
It's cheap.
I think that you should go back.
A pack of cigarettes is only $5, so it's really cheap to keep up a smoking habit.
Holy shit! Where do you live where it's only $5?
Yeah, there's no way it's $5, Kraut.
A pack of cigarettes is $5 in Germany. A pack of cigarettes is $5 in Germany.
There's no sin taxes in Germany at all?
It's just lower taxes.
But
for tobacco
unless
products.
you're buying native smokes, like I'm from Canada, and you can't even really get native smokes for $5 a pack, buddy. So
in Europe, the further you go east, the cheaper the cigarettes become, until you end up in Russia, where a pack of cigarettes is just $1 or $2.
Holy shit! It sounds like you've had some incredible life experience. So what was your experience like in the Eastern Bloc, Kraut?
I don't really have much experience with the Eastern Bloc. Like I don't think I have that much life experience.
Oh, okay.
I've traveled to Russia, if that's what you're asking.
I'm curious though. Godwinson said you're in your 30s. Is this true, man?
I think he's 27.
I'm 28.
Okay.
He's 28. He's 28. Sorry.
Okay.
No problem.
Look, I got to counsel you, man. How do you think this interview is going so far, Kraut?
I have no idea.
Okay, I have a couple questions for you.
Just keep in mind it's almost 4 in the morning, and I'd like to go to sleep in 20 minutes.
No, I see that you're sleepy now. You're pulling the old Sargon defense now that I'm on board, but that's okay.
You call it the Sargon defense.
It is the Sargon defense. It's a trademark. You know that. But look, man, you said that citations don't matter. Is this your actual opinion, or is this just something you said to deflect from reality?
Well, on YouTube, they don't matter. I believe people don't look at citations in YouTube.
Okay, then why did you criticize Black Pigeon Speaks for not properly citing things? Why?
Did I really?
You did. That was the whole thrust of your video, as far as I could understand it.
Well, the thrust of the video was that he lied about what he presented.
What did he? Okay, what did he lie about, Kraut?
The Windrush scandal, for example, where he made up an entire thing that was completely detached from reality and didn't make any sense.
See, the thing is, though, Kraut, everybody that I talk to says that he is in touch with reality, and you're detached from reality. Do you see like an issue here where most people in the world believe that you're delusional from reality? Are they all wrong, or what are they lying? Is there some vendetta against you? What's going on?
Well, I guess it's just their opinion.
Okay. It doesn't disturb you at all that most people believe that you're detached from reality?
No, it doesn't disturb me at all.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. I like that.
What is most people?
What is most people? Well, the fact is most people dislike your videos now. Don't the dislikes outnumber the likes on your videos?
Yeah, they do.
The other thing, too, I just want to call you on. Why do you always ask for a definition of terms?
Do I?
Like, what is water? Like, if I asked you if you drink water, would you ask me, what do you mean by water? I'm kind of confused.
Do I really do that? Do I really do that?
Has no one pointed this out to you before?
I am not aware of ever asking for a definition of water, to be honest. That sounds...
No, this is an example I'm giving. Are you just being purposely dense, or are you actually, misinterpreting?
No. I genuinely... Yeah, no. I'm not aware of me constantly asking for definitions. That's a new one for me.
Okay. This is another instance where I believe you might be out of touch with reality. You said you weren't an intellectual. Is that correct? You're not an intellectual. I want to clarify that.
Yeah, I'm not an intellectual.
Then why should anyone listen to your videos?
I'm just going to jump in here. PPP is like a very devout Christian crowd. How do you respond to that? I mean, you're an atheist, aren't you?
Well, that's good for him.
Are you an atheist?
Yes.
Kraut, why? Why are you an atheist?
Why not?
Is it
just
do you hate God, Kraut? Is that it?
Oh, I believe that faithful act thereof is a deeply personal thing.
Oh, okay.
That,
Okay.
it's not for me to tell people what to believe in or what not to believe in.
Then why do you make videos attacking people for what they believe or do not believe in if you hold that to be a true tenet?
Do I?
And the vaping intensifies. Are you getting stressed?
I'm just vaping, but do I really attack people over what they may or may not believe in? Like, I don't think that people's religious beliefs matter that much. It's more about what they do to others and proclaim to do it in the name of their religious beliefs.
Kraut, what are your opinions on PPP spreading his cheeks on stream?
You told me that he did that. I don't believe that he did that. That just sounds ridiculous.
Oh, it's totally true. It's totally true.
He did it for you, Kraut. He said in the name of Kraut as he parted cheeks.
What is wrong with you?
He's a fan.
I don't know. You tell me what's wrong with that. You disagree with what I did?
Where did you do that? What? How old are you?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's really relevant to that, Kraut, to be honest with you. But I am 20.
Okay, so it's not okay. Good. But just, I'm sorry. Why?
Well, I did it for the glory of God.
Okay.
His belief led him. His belief in the Lord led him to part cheeks for the Lord.
Okay.
You sound like flabbergasted. You sound confused.
Because I am. I don't get why someone. Yeah. No. This is okay.
But if someone's belief in God were to lead them to those extremes, surely it's valid, Kraut.
Yeah, sure. You can. You don't harm anyone doing it. At least I hope you don't. So, I guess.
I've never seen someone's faith in humanity shaken as much as the sound in your voice right now, Kraut.
No, I'm just confused. I don't understand that.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you can't go up a flight of stairs without breathing heavily. I'm a fairly obese gentleman and I can manage that feat. So I'm kind of confused about that on your end.
Well, you're also a young man and you're not a heavy smoker, so plays to your favors.
Yeah. Kraut, one last thing.
Okay.
Well, at least this. Would you take a drill to Jim's kneecaps? Is that something you wish to do?
Oh, that's just me spagging out.
But
was that said with genuine malice then, Kraut? Did you say that with genuine
No, this was just me angrily venting. I say stuff like that when I angrily vent. People just found out that I do this in private, and ever since it's become a really nice thing to try to get to tweet about, my angry rants.
Did you apologize to Jim then for saying that you wanted to drill into Jim's kneecaps? Did you apologize to him for that?
Why would I apologize for an angrily made private rant?
Well, because it's not private. Everyone's seen it now, and they want to have some form of closure on this. I mean, for a lot of people,
I think for most people, it was mainly entertaining.
I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it's not super entertaining. To me, honestly, man, it sounds like somebody who's in the midst of deep, like, unhealthy psychological fixation on another person online. It sounds like why is he getting you this upset, man? Like, what's going on? Why are you getting so rattled?
Well, because he can be an annoying cunt.
Well, yeah, just because somebody's annoying online doesn't give you the right to say you're going to take a drill to their kneecaps and threaten violence, man.
Of course I have the right to say it.
What are you talking about, man? You're threatening violence. You're inciting violence against a man who's
Do you really believe I am a violent person?
Well, anyone who conceives of the thought of taking a drill to a man's kneecaps and cold-heartedly plans it out and wants to put the drill in his kneecap, man.
Plan that out.
You were also instructing Tonkasaw to kill Andy Warski during Knoxville.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Where did he get that from then? Did he just lie?
Yeah, are you surprised that Andy just makes shit up at this point?
Oh, I'm not surprised about that. I'm surprised Godwinson would make
you
wanted Warski to suffer serious harm at the hands of Tonkasaw.
Oh, I wanted the shit kicked out of him. Yes. Yes, I wanted the shit kicked out of him.
So there's almost a pattern here being built up of you being sort of a bloodlust wanting sociopath.
Not necessarily, no. Like, a lot of people wanted to see Warski get the shit kicked out of.
Well, not a lot of people also wanted to see Jim's kneecaps drilled by their own hand.
Oh, God. Well, that was just me angrily venting. There's a difference between angry venting and you know, planning to have someone physically assaulted.
It seems to me like there's a pattern of behavior here which is consistent with your character and values.
Yes, this is me being angry.
Now, as a Christian person, though, I would never even fantasize about drilling another man's kneecaps because I know that would be displeasing to God. Do you think it might be a result of your atheistic, almost nihilistic worldview that these thoughts occurred to you?
Yes. Atheism makes people want to drill through people's kneecaps. Absolutely.
Does your atheism also lead you to other dark places? I mean, there's rumors out there that you're masturbating to bestiality. I don't know if that's true.
What?
Please tell me it's not true.
That's not true. Jesus Christ.
Okay, Kraut, though, I'm going to tell you the truth. In Canada, it is legal to engage in bestiality. So it's okay if you're into it, Kraut. It's not illegal in my country. Okay. Tell us the truth. Are you really into bestiality?
Kraut. Yeah. Can you confirm or deny this?
I'm not. I'm not into bestiality.
Kraut, what is your opinion on those who partake in bestiality?
Get help, I guess.
But why, Kraut? If there's no God judging them and it doesn't harm any being with consciousness, why shouldn't they be able to perform bestiality according to your worldview?
Oh, we still have laws on animal cruelty.
But where do the laws derive their authority from? I mean, as long as you don't get caught.
Where do that laws derive? I don't know. I'd have to look into how.
Is it disgusting? Is bestiality disgusting, Kraut?
Yeah.
Well, stop doing it then.
We certainly have a visceral reaction to it. We're certainly like, ugh, gross, disgusting. I certainly do, but there must be more to it.
How much have you viewed? I mean, how much bestiality have you viewed to come to that opinion?
I've actually never watched any bestiality porn.
Well, if you haven't tried it, how can you knock it?
It just sounds disgusting, to be honest.
I don't know. There's a lot of people in Canada who disagree. There's a thriving bestiality community, and some of the members of the community have actually emailed me and said that they've yiffed with you. Can you deny these allegations?
Yes, I can deny these allegations.
Well, Kraut, let's be serious here, because I mean, we are obviously using this as a broom to sweep away a lot of these allegations. Can you just sort of confirm what the most extreme porn you've masturbated to is?
Jeez. I wouldn't know right now, to be honest.
What do you mean?
So
do you watch porn, yes or no? Do you watch porn, yes or no?
Sometimes I do, yes. I think.
So you watch porn. What's your favorite genre of porn?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You just tell us you don't want to tell us your favorite genre of porn. Just say I don't want to discuss that.
It is relevant to the conversation, to be honest.
Of course it's relevant. We're trying to figure out how your mind has got this depraved that you want to drill cap a guy in the knees, man.
I don't really want to drill cap someone's knees.
Okay, so you just said it for no reason?
I just sorry. Sorry, I find it hilarious that you are trying that. Oh my god, you're calling anyone depraved after you spread your ass cheeks on a live stream.
It's done for the righteousness of God. Who are you to question my motives?
So if I convert to Christianity, I can do whatever the fuck I want, as long as I claim it to be in the righteousness of God. It's just absurd.
Kraut. Is it scat porn?
No, I don't. Ugh, that grosses me out. Ugh, that's very gross.
Is it lollipop, Kraut?
No, fuck that shit. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh, there's nothing more vile.
It sounds as though you're almost feigning your displeasure here.
No, I do believe that people who watch lolicon should be arrested.
Is it snuff porn?
No, it's probably something bondage related.
Oh yeah, because this is your deep fantasy, isn't it?
But yeah, other than that,
I mean, so you've seen like 2 Girls, 1 Cup then and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You didn't find that extreme? You didn't find that terrible?
I found it very extreme.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disgusted were you? 10 being the most disgusted and 1 being sort of okay with everything.
Probably 9.9.
What was the 0.1 that stopped you, that held you back there?
It's that there's no such thing as 100%.
What? So you're not 100% paedophilia against
Well, there's
it?
no such thing as. Well, statistically, at least, you know.
Well, I mean, I can confirm that I'm 100% against paedophilia. I don't hesitate on a 0.1%.
Yeah, well, I don't hesitate on that topic either. I'm also against pedophilia. Bam, there you go.
Would you say you're 100% against it, Kraut?
Yes.
So there you are. We agree then. We agree that you could be 100% against something. So what made you 99.9%?
Well, then I'll change it to 100% just to satisfy you, please.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, Kraut?
Not really.
PPP, do you have anything to discuss with Mr. Kraut?
Before you answer PPP, please don't shout into the microphone.
Oh, sorry, am I shouting? I apologise.
No, PPP. He's very loud. It's really... Woo.
I don't know. All right then, Kraut. It's been great to have you on. It's great that you've joined me as the new co-host of This Week in Nectar. It's going to be me, you, and PPP from this week on.
We only just met today. I don't even know who the fuck you are. Where have you streamed this in the first place? Like,
we're going to have a great time doing This Week in Nectar every week.
You know, the funniest thing is when I DM'd you today,